Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
And here comes 3 hours of exciting talk with three of your favorite people on this network at this time. That's really all we can do, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome.
Well recapped.
Three quarters of a show. We have to give a shout out to our dear friend, Kat Carlson. She cares enough to not show up because she's ill.
Yeah, don't
thank
spread
God.
that shit.
Right. She said something about the going in and out of different temperatures. She apparently caught. She said something more than flu, didn't she? In her message.
No, she just said like nagging cough. And,
Oh, okay.
But you know what? Don't. Just don't.
No.
Just go
I don't
home.
want to find out if I can catch it.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Not
No.
curious at all.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah, I'd rather just stay as good as I am here in Studio C, where it's just hermetically sealed all week until today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's the Q Talk America Tuesday night festivities. I'm Clayton McKee alongside Marnie Ryer down there. She's so extra.
I'm so extra.
Look at her shirt. She's so extra.
extra.
And
so
Al
extra.
just learned what that means.
And that he is as well.
Al is very extra, too.
No, so
Yeah.
extra. Val be so extra.
Val be extra tired today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, he's been very studious in typing and proofreading and trying to, get everybody on the same page.
And then working more overtime in the last 3 weeks than I did all of last year. I think we've equaled.
Wow. And you did a lot of that.
Now, wait a minute. How did the hell did that happen? Because that was very much that was your 2018 not going to do it.
2017. 2018 is.
You're back at it?
I got a couple of big trips that I need to pay for.
Oh, I
so
see.
Mama's got to see the world, so we're back
okay.
to work.
Well, you can mark off any Neil Diamond concerts off your list, so we know that's pretty much.
That's money right in the pocket. Forever in blue jeans, if you will.
Yeah, sung us around.
Yeah.
If you go, yes. Hi.
But so yeah, very exciting. So the Italy in
Hi, Mom.
6 weeks.
Okay.
Very
Wow.
excited.
Very good. I'm going to have you bring back
Nice.
some dressing. Italian.
Italian
That'd be good.
dressing,
That'd be
yeah.
nice to do for Sal.
Well, I am eating my way through, so
I'd like
that
a
is
pizza.
the plan. And then next year, the plan is to in the spring go from Santiago, Chile, up the coast through the Panama Canal, see that, and then land in the Miami.
All done via zip line.
Yes, exactly. 3 zip
Wow.
lines.
Wow.
You only change zips 3 times.
Wow. That'd be an interesting trip.
Yeah.
And then hopefully at the end of the year, doing a South Africa shark, wine, and safari. So
Oh.
yeah, do the beach,
Yeah.
do a shark cage, do the vineyards of South Africa, and then go to the northern part of South Africa and do a safari. So
Nice.
Wow.
that's gonna
Wow.
cost some money.
That'll be a penny.
Yeah,
Ish.
Maybe you can find it on Groupon.
Maybe.
maybe.
You never
You
know.
might. You never know.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-uh.
some friends of mine have done it. We're looking for tour groups, and so if anybody has suggestions or knows tour groups for that, because we're kind of piecing that together, and you can do this thing, and then one is like, find your own way from points A, B, and C. And it's like, no, how about you find me my way
Yeah.
from
No, I
A,
don't
B
feel
to C?
comfortable doing
You'll
that.
wind up in a dark alley somewhere.
Right, because
So,
they're like,
who
rent a
knows?
car. I'm like, I don't even want to drive the 4 miles to work, let alone
Right. He doesn't want to drive here.
however many miles that is
Yeah.
past,
Ooh, I think it'd be fun if you got like a
big game.
like a little moped or a scooter. That'd be kind of fun. You just zip all over.
Oh God.
I'm sure
yeah.
that would go well.
So likely. The crotch rocket, that's gonna happen.
No, they're slightly less powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the so extra Val. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When she has a crotch rocket.
I don't.
At our age, we don't need the crotch rocker. We just need something slightly,
Well, you need
slightly
the
above.
crotch. You need the crotch rocket if it's that chair that'll lift you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That
I'll
would be
crotch
a-
rocket it
an
up a flight of
ass
stairs.
rocket,
Yeah.
right? Like
The
kinda like,
acorn, your
"Rear."
acorn lift.
Yeah, right.
Christ.
We'll all
Oh,
be
by the
too
way,
very
I don't know if
soon.
anybody else has seen preview pictures of the Roseanna's coming back, and in the set of Roseanne, they have that chair on the
God.
staircase that goes upstairs.
Well,
I don't know who it's for.
I'm assuming Estelle Parsons. Shelley Winters is dead. Isn't
Shelley,
she?
Shelley Winters did, but it's been this long. Do we think the mom is still alive in this series?
Well, Estelle Parsons.
Is
I will check, but I am 99%
No,
sure that
okay.
she is still alive.
So Aaron is real afraid that because Ro was a pretty big Trump supporter.
yes,
Yes.
she is,
And that is going to
So-
carry
and that
through
is
the
in this,
show.
that will be in the
Yeah,
series. That will be in the
okay.
series. Though in the series, the Shara, I'm sorry, not God, why am I screwing up the names of the characters? God damn it! Is it Darlene?
Darlene.
Darlene,
Yeah.
Sarah Gilbert.
Yeah.
Sarah Gilbert's character has a son in the show that is, how is it they described it? I read an article about it the other day. It's not gender neutral, but wears frilly clothes and is
Right.
permitted by the mom for that. So
Yeah.
I guess it's interesting that they're putting. I mean, yeah, Rosanna's got her opinions, whatever. She can still be funny, but.
Sure.
But
I'm not
they're,
trying to.
but they're
I'm just-
throwing into the mix a couple other things in there, so it'll
Okay.
be interesting to see how those play out.
Interesting. All right.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that when I heard that she was coming back.
And it's
I was
also interesting that because Roseanne and Sarah Gilbert are co-producing the show.
okay.
It's also interesting to me because Sarah Gilbert came out many years ago, and she's a huge champion for women and for being who you are and all that. I just don't know how those conversations go between her and Roseanne about things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, how do you feel about the women's marches? Fuck them. I
well,
don't know.
and if you're going from the Connors being this
Working class, middle
working
right.
class kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how they wind that
Because-
back to ass hat.
Because was it right? Because if I'm not I don't remember exactly what did Dan do in the series? He was
a mechanic.
He was a mechanic, right? For at
Like
one point for a school,
motorcycles.
for a school at one point, and then I think
Okay.
he got his own shop
Right.
for motorcycles or something. But I was just thinking, if he was a factory worker, as would be a lot of the people from that
You bet.
that era or that what they were or that series. A lot of those jobs are leaving, whether or not.
Well, wasn't she like an unemployed? Wasn't she a
was-
laid off factory worker?
They
and
did
then
factory, and then she went to
a diner,
diner,
right?
yeah.
And then they won the lottery, and nobody cared.
Right. Then they won the lottery. Dan had a heart attack. All these other things happened. So,
Yeah, interesting.
and yet the series has the same couch. So I guess money doesn't buy you new couches. I don't know. It's weird.
No, eventually. That really.
Yeah. I would think that'd be a first purchase, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think.
yeah.
But no, they custom built it back.
Right, sure.
They did it.
Wow, that'll be
the series.
interesting. That'll
And
be
you know, and
very
I can't decide like where I'm gonna land on that show because Sarah Gilbert's also responsible for the talk,
Right.
which is just
You
total
have
fucking
talked
nonsense.
About that before. and-
God, I hate that show.
Have you ever seen that, Clayton?
Oh yes, because Aisha Taylor was on it.
Yes.
And or Tyler, Aisha Tyler, and I like her. She's a voiceover person from Archer. She plays.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I like her. But no, I like independently. I like several of the
And
people
she's
on
on
it.
Criminal Minds.
But I
believe,
just can't
and-
watch the whole show.
I just
But anymore, I mean, I can't watch.
and I
The View
don't know
either.
if it's true. But I do that Bill Maher thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's true, but I just feel it is.
Yeah.
That I feel like it's just the anti-vaxxer show. Like
Oh.
I don't know.
The
I don't know
anti-what?
vaxxer show. Like I just feel like
Okay.
it's just like every time I listen to a topic, like it's always at a doctor's office or something where I'm
Oh.
forced to listen and I'm like ready to chew my own paw.
Well, and you're up that early because usually you
Yeah.
sleep
Yeah.
in from your
Yeah.
night shift at the
Which is
restaurant.
how a lot of people felt about The View, and I
Right.
stayed loyal to The View for a good 16, 17
I'm watching
years.
it again. And
Yeah, I might go back.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Meghan McCain on there because I think, bleh.
Well, when they got rid of Joy Behar, I really had to object.
No,
Like,
I know, but she's back and
she's
mouthy
back.
as hell, and and
'Cause we
she
need an
and
old
Meghan
broad.
McCain.
We need an old Jewish broad to
Yeah,
buy this.
but she's
Or-
Italian.
Italian.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
you
that.
know.
Everybody says
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that.
forgot that.
She and Meghan McCain going back and forth is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to watch because Joy does not back. She's like, I'm too old to put up with that shit.
Right.
She doesn't back down, and Meghan McCain will not back down. And I'm so in that.
She also doesn't
in
stop
that
eating.
regard, I'm impressed.
But Meghan McCain's not. Oh, but neither do I.
No.
But Meghan
Like-
McCain's not. She's very, like, she can be fiscally Republican, but she's very socially.
Well, she's a very, very staunch pro-life, which I honestly didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, but I mean,
They're clearly all pro-birth. They're just
No.
not pro
no, I mean,
anything else after
She
that.
was, yeah.
We're not
right.
gonna
well,
take
and
care
that's
of
what
you.
Joy will
We're
say.
not gonna
That's
support
what
you in any
Joy
way.
looked up and said, "Well, at least as long as you have it."
We're not
and
going to
then,
pay
you
for your
know.
school
Then
lunch.
you're on your own, yeah.
But by God, you're going to get born.
Right,
Then
right.
you're on your own.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
But it is interesting to watch them go back and forth and
I
through
mean, can't
their
get you in prison fast enough.
through their gritted teeth say things like, "But we're friends now." Aren't we?
Yeah.
And it cracks me up because you think, really?
Mm-hmm.
Can you be? I don't know.
and
Not
the
because
good
someone's
thing about
Republican
being-
and Democrat, but because of how they go at each other.
The easy thing
And it-
about being anti-abortion is don't have one.
Right.
Correct.
That's the easiest answer.
In the butt, Bob.
Yep.
That's
If you're against gay
Fantastic.
marriage, don't marry a gay person.
Yeah.
that's true.
I mean, no
That's-
one told Liza, but
No.
Well,
Yeah.
she was trying to build a bridge.
Yeah.
or Elizabeth
but
Taylor.
oh,
Yeah.
she only married one gay fella.
but still.
One gay fella.
Actually,
Maybe two.
Wait, no, I don't think she did.
I don't know. I think Larry Fortensky was a little in the closet.
God, I forgot about Larry Fortensky.
Well, he
Holy
was just
shit.
fucked up
He
100
was
different ways.
really-
Really, that would have been the easiest thing to overlook was sucking a dick. You know,
Don't let your hair get in the way, Larry. Would you hold my hair back while I do
Could
this?
you please?
you know what I mean? Making money in men's room was not going to be his biggest sin.
Siegfried and Roy must have needed him for some sort of a.
something.
Because that was really what he looked like with the.
Rawr.
Oh my god! It came up as a memory the other day. The episode of Modern Family when Cam and Mitch are talking about all the things that they hesitated to do, and they're like, "Well, we can't go see Siegfried and Roy. I mean, unless we can get the tiger to uneat the one guy."
Well played. I like it.
things that they put off.
That Cam and Mitch are so extra.
They are, and that show's it's running out of steam. Like it's limping
Yeah.
towards the finish, but every once in a while I still
Good
get a good solid
chuckle.
laugh out of
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
Gosh, what are they going to do when they have to shut down production on that show? Because
It's-
everybody's grown up. Like
I
all the
think-
kids are
I
grown.
think
and
next year is the last year. I think
Is
they
it?
I think
Oh, is
they've
it?
like tentatively announced that.
Lily
the,
graduates
last
from
the,
college.
the 18-19, right? The 18-19 season will be it for them.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll try to spin off some version of the kids.
But I don't know. I don't see any of them being strong enough.
I don't
The
either.
only show that I could see would be Cam and Mitch.
Yeah, but I think we've already got a Will and Grace.
I
for
was
them.
just gonna say
call.
not Cam and Mitch, but oh Jesus Christ, what the hell is his
Sophia
name?
and
No, you're on the right track. But what's the friend's name?
Pepper. Pepper.
Nathan Lane.
Nathan
Oh.
Lane.
Oh my God, Nathan Lane when he plays
When he-
kickball. Oh, the kickball episode, I was fucking done.
It doesn't take much with Nathan Lane though. Like he could be in anything, and all of a sudden he just walks up to somebody and
Yeah.
he does that, and I've already been laughing for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's nothing's really happened, but he's just fucking funny.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he's
really
totally
is.
funny.
And that character, the episode where they get married, kills me. And then the episode where he plays kickball, I cannot.
When he comes over because
like
they
a full
have
white girl, I can't even.
when he comes over because Mitch has told him that they had structural damage because of the storm, and so he goes crazy and he throws the hat rack through the window and breaks the windows and Cam's like, really? A little over the top, do you think? And then Pepper shows up because they didn't want to go to his brunch. Was what it was, I believe. Oh, forget it. Like I said, done. Then he just kills me. It's like
Good.
the birdcage all over.
Oh yeah.
Fabulous.
And the bird, A Story So Wonderful. You can remake it 18 different ways.
Absolutely proven.
The play that becomes a movie, the movie that becomes a musical, the musical that becomes a movie again. This time it's English.
No parent pills.
Two sequel. There's two sequels to La Cage aux Folles. Like that movie has two sequels. It was the highest. That's the Birdcage is a remake of.
Right. But
There's La Cage aux Folles 2 and La Cage aux Folles 3.
I thought you meant something. The birdcage and something. That's why I
Oh
was
no,
like,
no,
what?
but La Cage aux Folles
Okay.
actually had sequels. It got turned
Oh
into
my
a
God.
musical. I mean that thing had legs.
I didn't
It
realize
had
that.
two revivals in the last 10 years, and I think it won Tonys both times. Like
Oh,
that thing
nice.
just wins.
Yeah.
Because you can't go wrong. It's just fucking funny.
It is. I would agree.
I actually have never seen, surprisingly, that movie, the original La Cage aux Folles. I've never seen it.
It's very funny.
Surprisingly, I mean, someday.
And
someday.
the one complaint that Harrison is the one that brought it up to me is that they take a long time to start treating Nathan Lane nicely in that movie. Like they treat him like shit for a little bit longer than is necessary. Where in the musical and the original La Cage aux Folles, like they know that he raised your child. Like the child realizes real fast that this is his parent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So and
Rather
it just
than the son treating him so shitty.
he
through-
does, and
yeah.
it does start off with treating him shitty, but he comes around
Right.
really quick. And in the musical, there's a really beautiful song called "Look Over There" when the son is asking to have Georges not be there,
Okay.
or Alban not be there. And the character of Georges sings "Look Over There," like that. Look at that person that you just hurt their feelings raised you. Like look over there. That's your mother. Like.
I love
And
that.
it's a beautiful
Yeah.
song of like maybe it's not the person that gave birth to you, but that's the person that
That's the
raised
person
you.
who's
So
been there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
And kind of
fantastic.
tells him like
Yeah.
you can be the first one to go.
Sure.
Before we kick out Alban,
Yep.
Zaza,
Zaza.
you're out the door
Yeah.
first.
I like it.
Is she what is his name in Birdcage? Is it Zaza?
No.
I can't remember.
Well, that's a definitive no, but what the hell's the
No,
answer?
Because
I feel like if you're going to be
that I can't know, but that I can't give you. But I can tell you that. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Of course he'll look it up. That's what he does.
That's what Cat
No, that's
does.
what Cat does. That's why I was asking.
That's
him.
what he does in Cat's absence. By the way, if you're just joining us, and I can't imagine that you would have missed the first 20 minutes of this installment, the reason that there was only 3 of us is Kat Carlson's under the weather. She chose not to come and share it with us, and I am thrilled that that has happened because so far my winter season here in the in the Phoenix has been cold free, sniffle free. It's dry here. I've had a couple of the little nosebleeds you get kind of seasonally just because it's dry. Other than that, I'm good.
Oh, and fucking cold Saturday.
It's been chill.
Yeah.
That was an odd day when you wake up in Phoenix and it's a gray day, and you're like, huh? Because we have 4 gray days a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just odd
And then to
to
combine like gray and cold.
yeah, it was very weird.
Yeah, Saturday night and Sunday morning, I was at work and I just kept getting colder and colder and colder, and I started to bitch about it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, ooh, maybe I don't feel good. Like maybe this cold to the bone.
Oh.
And then I just got super fucking tired. And they were
Oh my God!
Bless
Al's
you.
gonna. Oh my God!
Bless
Now,
you.
now.
they were asking
Oh,
me.
one more. Oh, there
Bless
we
you.
go.
They
You
were
better
asking me
not,
if
Zika.
Yeah.
You better not have something.
They asked me if I wanted to work on Sunday night, and I thought, well, maybe. And then finally at like 6:30 in the morning, I'm like, oh no, like I'm going down like a house of cards. So went home, took the hottest bath outside of boiling,
Oh.
and all the Advil in the world, and went right to bed. Like I went right to bed.
It was definitely chilly.
Yeah.
That is so true.
And
Sunday, I decided that being awake for 4 hours was plenty, and I went back to bed. More than enough.
And if it's 50 degrees outside, it's about 30 in his house.
That's true.
Stone Cold
That's
Palace
very
never
true.
disappoints. Need to keep your meats fresh? Come on over.
Come on over, hanging meat in the living room.
You want to
My
warm
God.
up? Open up the fridge. Get a warm breeze.
I'm gonna let that go.
Feel the tropic air.
Have yourself a sodie.
Oh,
Oh my heavens! So
Fantastic.
Marn,
Yeah.
the what have you been doing segment is going to kind of start with you, and I
Yeah.
would already like to express my my condolences
Thank you.
to you. I know Sunday was a big day.
Day
and,
of tragedy.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
it's a shame
I
when
wish
you're.
I could have just been up for 4 hours and then gone right back to sleep.
Well, you could have.
I could have. I
So
should
close
have.
and yet so far.
You should have been up for the.
No, not close at all.
Well,
Not close, no,
one game
no.
away.
Yeah, a
One
good
really
point.
bad game away.
Yeah, pretty much that's a. Quite frankly, I'll always be a Vikings fan.
Sure.
Always.
Sure.
But this is pretty much par for the course. So, the Sunday before was exciting as hell.
Oh yeah, but still, whoa, close.
Oh,
whoa,
very,
close.
but exciting as hell and typical.
Yeah.
And awesome. And I didn't have a whole lot of, I'm not going to say gumption, but a whole lot of anticipation going into Sunday's game.
Okay.
Because I've been in that position before as a fan and been, like let down. They seem to not have any idea how to play
Yeah.
for that game.
Throw in
So-
the parking lot attendants.
Right. I mean, for real. Like they were out coached. They were outplayed. They were outside.
Outscored.
They were outscored. I mean, it was just really something. So that was a pathetic kind of sad day. But at least I wasn't hungover on Monday, so that was a bonus.
Oh, there you go,
Unlike
yeah.
the Monday before,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was okay. It was
Your
okay.
dreams of
Oh,
going
thanks,
all
Jenny.
the way.
I really was surprised that that for as well as they had played all year. to
Well, now
come
you
on-
can-
I was just surprised not that they lost, but how fucking poorly they played.
Yeah.
Anybody who watched that game or heard about, I mean, for real.
And
Silver lining for you is
Yes.
your stresses are all off for the Super Bowl for you.
All
Doesn't
done.
matter.
Yeah,
No.
don't
You're
give a
done.
I'm
shit.
certainly not a Philly fan.
No. And as
No.
poor sports as they are,
Not because has nothing to do with the fact that we lost to them at this point.
oh yeah, just the behavior and everything they've been doing.
Shitty.
Poor sportsmanships on any level,
Yeah.
but I still want to see Tom Brady.
I
drawn and quartered on the field.
I know. And so it
My
really,
dislike for him knows no bounds.
This is
Nope, that's exciting.
so this Super Bowl is very much as if the Packers and the Dallas Cowboys were going to play.
Right.
Chirp, 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 chirp. Just
Right.
go ahead and get out of fucking cricket because I can't necessarily cheer either way.
Yeah.
So
I really only care. I'm only going for the halftime. That's all I give a shit. And I don't even know if I care about that.
pink.
Oh, it is.
Oh my god! Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I
there you
was
go. I'm
so
back. I'm back.
excited about
Yeah,
that.
well-
I was out, now I'm back.
And to have been in that stadium and to think like just
Yeah.
very excited. Very excited.
Well, again, we're sorry, Marn.
she
We
soars
bet on
high
it
above it.
next year. There's always another season.
Yeah.
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 That's how I've looked at it for damn near 48 years. There you have it.
There you have it.
Have they? When was the last time they won a Super Bowl, or have
No,
they?
they've never
never
won.
won
They've
Super
never.
Bowl.
But
They've
they've
been
in
4 times.
But you know their
like the
record.
Bills, 4 times in, 4
Exactly.
times
Their
lost.
record
Exactly.
is clean though, as far
Yeah.
as no wins.
None. Yeah.
No Super Bowl.
They have done a superior job at losing.
And is it
Yeah.
all? Do they have 80s appearances? Because I thought it was.
No.
they're all 70s.
70s.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're like
Oh,
in the
way back.
first. They're in the first few.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Exciting.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Something to look forward to.
The okay, I think we already addressed what you've been doing,
Yeah.
going over your work habit, your sleep habit.
And then a lovely day yesterday when I finally did wake up and decide it's Monday. Let's give this a try.
Yep.
Went and met Kara for luncheon at a cute little place called 32nd Street Cafe at 32nd and Shea.
Okay.
Tiny little coffee house, delicious little food items, very charming. Tree-lined patio filled with birds.
Oh, very
Shit
nice.
on me twice.
Oh yeah, I did
2
read that.
direct hits.
Uh-huh.
One to the arm, one to the phone.
Oh.
And we're looking at I'm looking at my arm and I'm like, God damn it, I can't eat anything without getting it on my clothes. And I look down at it and I'm like, I'm not eating anything that color. Like that's
So
some
where
kind
did
of a
this come
mint
from?
julep. And then I had been seeing like things, but I thought it was like leaves falling faster than leaves normally do. And then plop, it like just bird shit on the phone, and I'm like, and we're out from underneath this lovely tree.
Oh, okay.
But it, silver lining. It was a lovely, lovely sunny day. So I sat in the sun. I got a little burned on the nose, but it just felt so nice to like
Sure.
sit in the sun and get some sunshine, and it was beautiful to sit outside. We were
So
out on the
alert to
patio.
people: the birds at 32nd and Shea are regular.
Exactly.
They're
Yep.
good.
Not constipated.
Not
in
at all.
Not
Anyway,
even a little bit.
so that was nice. And then I went back home and in a fit of caffeine, got my taxes done and
Yes.
went
productive.
through like my house and the office and just shredded. I cannot stress to you the amount of junk mail that is, and it's every couple weeks I have to do this, but it's the volume of shit you have to shred from credit card offers and
Oh,
Right.
people
sure.
sending offers, and people want to buy your house and people want to do this.
I just proact. I do
Yeah.
it daily, just daily. I have to. Otherwise, I would be like, you don't have a stack of it, and then it becomes either a fire hazard or whatever.
And I didn't realize how many things I was just like. I thought I was kind of on top of it because I do it like once a week, every 10 days. Oh my god, it was.
Well, you also been
everywhere.
gone. You also were gone for a
Right.
while and it backed up too. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean, I've done it. I've done it since January 1st. Like this
Oh.
isn't the first time in
Okay.
January, but it was. I mean, I cannot describe to you the volume of mail that comes in that needs to be shredded.
Yeah.
And it's. I was like,
I
so
ri-
finally, I brought a stack like this high, like a good inch thick, to work to put in with the medical stuff that has to be destroyed. Because I'm like, I'm done.
Right. Right.
And then they called it like 4:30, right as I hit done on the taxes, because that was a happy minute. Done on the taxes, filed,
Yeah.
accepted. Donald fucking Trump owes me money,
Nice.
and he better pay up this time because he's not good at that.
Fortunately, he has no
So
control.
they called
really
and
over-
asked me like, "Do you want to come into work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm awake." Oh, that was rough because I had been up since early in the morning and like had been doing stuff
Sure.
all day, like did all the laundry, changed all the sheets, all that stuff. Like I'd been
Did
busy
you have
all
any
day.
time to lay down?
No.
Oh.
So about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was like, "Oh my god, I am physically dying."
Oh, I can believe
It
it.
happens.
It was just bloodshot eyes and failed will to live. So I went in the bathroom and washed my face in cold water and did the whole like, let's
That-
spritz this camel up and see what we get. And then limp to the finish line.
Oh my God.
I agree with
that I
what Joe
couldn't-
says in the chat room. Shredding is somehow soothing. I think there's some sort of a finality to it when you just it's gone. It's completely gone. You're not getting it back.
I think it's because I don't have the shredder. Just isn't big enough that I have. So if I'm doing that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, I
it's
don't
one
mind
sheet
that.
at a time. Sometimes too, like, and I don't know if it's because I own a house, but it's the volume
Yeah.
Could be.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it never ever stops. I mean, there's like 3 to 4 offers to buy my house every other day.
Sure.
It probably is because you're a homeowner. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
may have to. I don't know. My mom's a homeowner, and I know she has a lot of junk mail that comes through because she has a basket that she keeps it in next to her desk, and then every so often she goes through and does the entire purge.
It's so fucking annoying.
It's a ton.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not a fun story. What'd you do?
Well, learning things about the workings of the interwebs, like behind the scenes stuff and how email stuff. It's very interesting. We all, and obviously Joe's going to know a portion of this, but the email world that everyday people live in is very simple. It's click new email, type a name, and it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the technical shit that goes on behind the scenes to get it from A to B, and all of the different things that, there's all kinds of checks and security protocols. It's really interesting to find out all that kind of stuff. So I'm diving into that because that's a portion of what we do as Edge Studios. So I spent a couple hours with Matt yesterday learning some of that, and then I've got to watch some videos for a company that produces a software that we use that explains a little bit more of it. But it is not simple. It is crazy, the security stuff that goes into this, and I just was kind of interesting to see a whole new side of it because clearly as things are changing and improving and being automated, kind of it's one of those things where some of your job goes away because things become automated. Well, you've got to do other things. So I'm finding myself having to learn a little more of the behind the scenes stuff. So that was kind of neat. Well, so parlaying
It's like sausage. Don't ask how it's made.
parlaying that into behind the scenes stuff, I have to give a shout out and a big thank you to Joe DeGanzik today. He's in the chat room. He's Joe D, which I also realized that reminds me oddly of that Snoopy character. What was his? Joe Cool. Oh, Joe Cool.
Joe Cool.
Oh.
Joe C. That'd be Joe C.
That'd be, yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
did a migration through for our website. In fact, if you go to qtalkamerica.com, it looks very different than what you're used to seeing. We were with another company some time ago, and they were like, it's like $30 a month to host it, depending on what you've got. Well, I have all our domains are all through GoDaddy, so I thought, well, one-stop shopping makes sense. Let's move it. Plus, it's $7 a month. So we're saving like $23 a month just by having it hosted somewhere else. So they migrate the site. Well, it all doesn't work when you migrate it. Well, so I'm on the phone with GoDaddy trying to figure some stuff out, and it's like they're saying, well, who built your site? And I'm like, well, it was custom built, blah blah blah. Blah, blah. They're like, well, this is really customized and it's really intricate, and there's some things that they couldn't figure out or they couldn't do. So I had to get Joe involved today to figure out what links were broken and what was happening. So we got us back up. Come to find out, actually, it was part of a theme, a website theme that we had to make a change to. But anyway, Joe, thank you. He got us back up and going. The beauty of this is, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, probably not because I haven't gotten emails about it. I haven't been able to upload content of any of our shows since early December because this whole transition, they say don't touch the site when you're in the transition until you know that it works. Because if you upload stuff, it doesn't get copied and all that happy shit. So aside from the YouTube channel.
They told Caitlyn Jenner the same thing.
Exactly.
Similar.
So anyway, I've got to spend some time uploading
so extra.
You are. I've got to spend some time uploading some of that stuff. Good times. That'll take hours and hours and hours to do, but whatever. We'll get through it. So there was that. The other thing that I did, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, I'm sure, and everybody's bored with hearing about it, but I'm still working, and it's very cool on the Ancestry.com stuff.
Good.
And the cool thing for me is, aside from figuring out who's related to who and blah blah blah, I'm still working on the fact that my mother's maiden name, or her name, not maiden now, it's just her name, it's uncommon. It's not a Smith or a Jones. It's an uncommon name. So when I have Google Alerts set up to notify me anytime that last name pops up anywhere. So sadly, if it's not Tom Luganbill, who is in something to do with ESPN Sports, he's a commentator or an analyst or something, he comes up all the time. But if anybody with the last name Luganbill pops up, sadly, it's a lot of times it's in obituaries, I get a notification. I am determined to figure out how some of those people are connected to us in some way.
Right.
Because, again, it's just an uncommon name. And I find out that a lot of them are in the same areas that ancestors of ours were. Ohio, Indiana, all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, the fun part for me is I do a little work on it, blah, 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 and then I go up and I visit my mom. And I sit down in front of the laptop with her, and we look at pictures and we do stuff. It's the stories. It's a story that I've never heard because, it would never have organically come up in conversation until a picture triggers a memory or a thought or oh my God, I haven't seen that person in years. So it's very interesting. And I found out I found out a lot more from Mom just sitting and chatting about it. It's just very cool to figure out. And again, you just put it together. And I became connected with, last Thursday, a cousin of my mother's who lives in Washington State. Is oddly going to be here in Phoenix in April. Her daughters are flying here, I believe, because he's in the military. I think that's why they're coming here. They're stationed in Germany currently, but her daughter is coming here, and so it'd be kind of cool. We'll see a cousin of my mom's that I haven't seen in. I mean, God, I was probably 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
Always fun.
And Mom was slightly younger as well.
Maybe.
So anyway, I just think it's very cool. The Ancestry.com stuff is, I mean, it's still fascinating to find out. And the other thing, and I keep saying this to my mom, and I realize it's real, but when you look back and you find out somebody, an ancestor, and you're like, this can't be right. There's no way that this family has 12 or 13 children, and they do.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I get that, they had crops to raise, a farm to run, so they just kept having farm hands basically to run everything.
The pill didn't come along to the 70s.
Right, and there was abstinence was not an option back there, I guess. But it's astounding when you look and you realize that. And I told my mom,
You just give birth till you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a 2-month reprieve after you drop one, but you're right back in the oven. It's just continual. It was really crazy to see that, and you're like, the family tree is just person. And the other thing that's popping up,
And we just don't see those big of families anymore.
not anymore. Not unless you live in Mesa.
Right, because family planning has been part of our
Right.
our culture now for so long.
The other thing that's interesting to see that you obviously don't anymore, when you go back into the mid to early 1800s, you do see a lot of infant death. A lot of it, like it'll have so and so a child was born.
You don't have to go back that far.
No, but I'm saying in my family tree, I realize it still happens. No, I'm saying
no, I'm saying, but I mean,
I'm just really seeing it a lot more when you go back 2-3 generations. I'm seeing it a lot where all of a sudden I can't find any information about child A that was born in whatever year. Later on down the road, you figure out because he was alive 6 months. Like there is no other history of this person. There was nothing there. So anyway, so that's it. That's cool. There's that. I feel like there was something else.
I love how you've gotten so into that, though.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I think it's very fun. And my cousin Michael, who was in the YouTube chat room, was it last week or so? Michael got into his too. He did his DNA thing. So he's got that, and he's just learning about it. So he was messaging me about the whole thing and connected. I shared my tree because clearly we're the same family.
Right.
So there's a lot of it that he can just take from mine and see what's already there.
And it'll take him less time to build his that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that works.
Cool.
If maybe he can just literally copy mine. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just I find it very interesting. And my mom said that she couldn't do it. Like she said, I could not sit there and do it. And I literally can sit there for hours on end and do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Mama Di, because that, like, I would go into it and kind of look into it a little bit and then be like, yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I showed her
can't.
your tree because I've got yours and the beginning of yours that I started, and then I actually have another one. I told you this. I'm looking for people that pop up in my Google alert. So I started a tree for another lady that died, and then I found her husband, and obviously it's the husband's name is who I'm looking for. And then again, a couple different trees have come together, and you're like, this is weird because
She's a genealogist now.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
I do appreciate so extra genealogy.
I'm so extra.
Because all of my family's so small. I mean, at least that's what I think. Right? I mean, my family is so small that I think you just kind of look at it and go, yep, no, that's a small tree. Tiny little tree. Look at that.
Well, and I realize
Tiny
I know
little
my immediate family, but I mean, clearly I'm going back to like my mother's great grandfather to a point, but I'm still figuring out even her cousins.
Right.
Some of and obituaries are oddly crazy ways to find out information because what do they list? So and so died. Their wife preceded them in death, or their wife survives. They have 4 children, and they list all the names and where they live. So boom, I just start.
Parenthetically,
Yeah,
spousal
you
name.
start putting in all that information, and it starts populating stuff.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yep. Well.
Oh, and the other thing was Mom supplied a bunch of pictures. Pictures
sure, 'cause
I've
you can-
never seen.
Yeah.
And it's like, how have we gotten almost 50 years with me being alive and I still haven't seen some of these? Granted, I realize my mom has never shared everything with me and never will.
Right.
But there are some pictures I'm like, I have never seen this.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it gets to it got to a point like I knew my aunts and uncles that lived long enough to meet me, and then like they all had a lot of kids, and then there's like an explosion the next generation, and by the I like went down. I'm like I don't care if I wanted to know you, I would have met you. You know what I mean? Like
right.
like my aunt's 15 grandchildren. Like I don't care. Like and I just kept reaching that point of like, well I don't care about them. Like that's interesting, but.
Sure.
Like it's never gonna come up in conversation, or we're not gonna all of a sudden like bond over. You know what I mean? I guess it's just because they're so old. Like everybody in the story has been dead now so long that I'm like, yeah.
Well, I still think it's neat to find out. Like I told you before.
Oh, and it could be that there's somebody 3 people over that's somehow related to, like an aunt that moved out west. You know what I mean? I mean they're only but it gets to that point of like, if we find out, we find out, but. What's
I still find it interesting.
Oh no, it is it's fascinating, but it just reaches a point when you're playing around with it that I'm like, I don't care. Like you're just like just go read a book. Like I don't know anything about I don't know them. Like and I'm not gonna go.
Oh, I don't know all my people either.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting. Again, then you also still find out like my grandmother had a sister that was born and died before she was ever around, and we never knew about it. There's some crazy stuff. I'm still finding that there's a brother here that I never knew was there. Grandpa never talked, or my uncle or whatever. It's just it's crazy. It's pandemonium. It's so extra.
Pandemonium.
It's so
Cats and
extra.
dogs
Super
living
extra.
together.
Super extra.
Super extra. That's the gay way to say it.
Oh, is that?
Super-
Oh, it is.
Super extra.
Super. Thanks for
Super.
asking.
Thanks. Love
Gosh,
it.
I'm sure either one of you are probably not warm. I'm very warm. Are you good?
I'm cold.
You're cold?
Yeah.
Hokey smokes.
I know. Weird. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what
Going
to
through
say.
I
the
have
change.
more clothes to put on, so if you want to turn on some
Oh,
air,
please. Yeah, I'm fine, but yeah.
I think it's because I'm drinking hot coffee. I think that doesn't help. You ingest warm beverages, and that
Me
tends to.
too.
yeah, me too.
Oh, I guess you are. I forgot about that.
Because it turns out that the wine fridge was so handy, I drank all the wine.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
I was like, well, there's wine in that fridge.
Glad we installed the white.
Wow.
Wow. The Val Perkins Memorial Fridge is still going though. By God.
The sadness was real when I opened up that fridge. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing
is
in
that a
there.
bottle of champagne that's in it? What is it that's in
It's
there?
not champagne, but it's bubbles of some kind.
Okay, whatever. We'll use it at some point
good
for
stuff.
something. Who
Yes.
knows?
Fantastic. God, that's funny.
What is this I've got doing? What am I? Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. It's always what happens. I don't know that we need to go through. Do we have an obsession? Is there anything that we need to? Anything you've been focusing on? That's not going to come up in entertainment or headlights.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. I mean,
Oh,
I was
you'll be
obsessed
go-
with my Vikings, but other
Actually,
than that,
actually,
no.
Al, you'll appreciate this. I know you'll appreciate this. I found out that I'd been watching since I got my contour box, and people down the line. I want you all to understand this was very traumatic. I didn't realize that my box had defaulted to 780 DPI.
Oh,
That's a rough day.
So I changed the setting, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy mother!
it's a
Yeah,
different
so I'm now
world.
at 1080.
A
I just wanted you to know.
whole
It's really interesting.
And it's you know you're watching too much TV when you're like, what? This is different.
Well, I kept thinking,
I can't see their back
I'm
molars.
with you, Jenny.
and
That's what I was thinking
but I thought
too.
to myself, I'm like, I know I have an older TV, like it's 6, 7 years old, maybe older. I'm like, okay, it's just an older TV. That's fine, I get that. And then, but then I kept looking at stuff, and I'm like, no, I think it should look a little better than that.
Yeah.
And then you'll see. Then I will do something on my Apple TV, and Apple TV is at 1080.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, this picture is
Different.
crystal fucking
Right,
clear.
Right.
So then I figured out. So I'm excited because I just changed it literally today. I'm excited because later on tonight I'll be able to watch Rachel in full 1080 splendor, where I think she explodes today because of the news. I think
And
she.
find out that whoever does the makeup at MSNBC really needs to get a new job.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Oh, it's
Well, Rachel, I
a
thought
little
Rachel did her
much.
own.
Rachel only wears eyeshadow, so she's not doing the.
I think she's doing some lashes. I think we got something.
Yeah, but I mean the people that are doing the spray on. Oh, it's awful
Oh, for guests that come in.
for everybody. I mean the hosts look bad. 1080 for MSNBC is kind of one of those things where like just turn away.
Oh, I may have to experience that a little later. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are all things that are new to me. But anyway, I was excited to finally reach up to your level, Al, because that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do.
When you grow up.
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to watch TV at the Obsessive level.
Yeah.
All right, do your headlines.
Oh, I'm queuing up the thing right now. We're getting there. I just got to do.
I'm trying to find, no pun intended with the so extra, but extra headlines just in case.
Well, we can talk. We don't even have to do a full length show if we don't want to. You know why? Because we own the network.
Well,
We can do whatever the hell we want.
you're in charge.
Oh, I appreciate that you think that that's the case because
Well,
Al
I was
usually.
talking to Al.
Oh, oh, my bad.
Let's not be silly.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah, for real.
We'll do this, and we'll do this and see how it goes. Let's do our headlines and see if we can get over it. Marnie's going to find something to read about. I'm sure she can.
I feel.
Why? Because she's Marnie Ryer, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Yo quiero candlelight vigil.
Sometimes they're just assholes,
No winner. No winner.
You're going to need to move your car, sir.
and sometimes they're still just assholes.
Santa just is white.
Oh, still, wow. And a picture is worth 1,000 memes. These and I'm sure other stimulating stories are going to come across our lips because we got time to kill with Kat Carlson out on maternity leave.
She's going to be so excited to hear that.
Yes.
Hi, Harrison.
I'm sure she will. We'll be back right after this. Get yourself a beverage, would ya?
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And we're back for the beginning of hour 2 on this cool, maybe chilly evening here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a lovely 72 degrees here in Studio C. I don't know what it is where you are. In fact, because we enjoy the weather so much, wherever you are, please tell us in the chat room what the temperature is where you are, because I think we should all share in that, don't you? I think that'd be great. Anyway, alongside me tonight, Marnie Ryer, Al Perkins. My name's Clayton McKee. That empty chair that if I do this, you'll be able to see. That empty chair over there, that belongs to Kat Carlson, who is out under the weather this evening. So she may be listening and may be in the chat room later, she said, depending on if her meds wore off. So
We'll take you with the meds on, too, though.
oh, that's a good time, yes. Everybody in the chat room, Jenny, Joe D. Harrison. Hi, Harrison, from Southern California. It's time for headlines. Let's see if we can do it. Well, this story made me think of Al immediately, and I said, well, we have to do it. We have to do this story. When a beloved Taco Bell in Montgomery, Alabama burned down last week, a lot of locals were very upset. They were shell-shocked.
Beloved.
They were taco shell-shocked. Others like Katie James saw an opportunity to pay tribute. Her roommate, Russell Dowis, eats a lot of fast food, so when he told her that he was sad that the local Taco Bell had burned to the ground, James decided put his mind together and get some activity going. So what they did, he says, well, we should hold a memorial. We should hold a memorial for the Taco Bell. He said, oh my gosh, we should hold a candlelight vigil for a Taco Bell. And then he
Seems
moved.
appropriate.
Then he moved on about his life, but didn't really think anything about it. He told the Montgomery Advertiser newspaper. He says, and about 10 minutes after the conversation, made a Facebook event entitled it Candlelight Vigil for the Taco Bell. His friend said. Luckily, no one was injured in the fire. However, investigators told local NBC affiliate WSFA that the blaze began in a small room holding electrical distribution equipment, so it was electrical fire. The vigil was held on Sunday, and there were no hotter ticket in the town. About 100 people came to remember the OK customer service and long wait line, the oh-so-delightful Baja Blasts, and $5 quesadilla boxes, according to the Facebook event. James says he knows why the event appealed to so many people. It just gave people something to talk about other than all the negativity going around right now. I understand it. The owners of the Taco Bell do plan to rebuild. In fact, in the picture, I'll show you this picture.
We will overcome.
This is a picture of the fire. It was one of the newer Taco Bells that had been, rebuilt. So it wasn't one of the old originals that you worked in. It was the rebuilt ones.
Arizona's first.
Yeah. So in the fire, they said that after the fire says, we are overwhelmed by the displays of support. The unnamed owners of the franchise said, we are extremely thankful that no one was harmed early Wednesday morning when the store burned and that no firefighters were injured as they battled the flames that were during the fire that happened in single-digit temperatures outside, which means all that water just froze immediately is what that means. But I thought this was cute. One of the people that tweeted out, Mary in Nashville, says that here's a long live Taco Bell. And here are some pictures of the people at the vigil. They're holding up candles and their phones in solidarity. But Al, I thought...
Jenny says... Jenny's from the OG for Taco Bell. No more enchilada or Bell beef or either. That fucking Bell beefer.
That enchilada was so good.
That was tasty, but that Bell beefer was delicious.
I don't think I had a Bell
Mexican
beefer.
sloppy Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
And
I've
those
ever had
soft
one.
buns that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've talked about those on the show before, too, as we talked about your illustrious career. There was something else that...
I never remember the name of the Bell beefer. I haven't been able to remember that name for
There
years.
was something that my mom used to eat a long time ago from there when I would run through, and I can't recall what it was, but they don't have it anymore. And I don't think it was the... I don't think it was the Bell...
Were the two best things.
Do they even still do a tostada?
They don't do a tostada.
Maybe it's the tostada she used to have.
Delicious.
Yeah.
A beefy tostada. Let's
And then
not
it used,
get crazy.
And then you get the people from like Oklahoma and the Midwest that would call them chalupas. I'm like, settle the fuck down. That's not a chalupa. It's a
That's
tostada.
No, a chalupa is very different.
Very different, I think.
It's almost like a fry bread shell.
Yeah, they'd be like, I don't like a chalupa. Wrong girl.
Not
Wrong
okay.
country.
Not okay.
Oh, but that Bell beefer with green sauce was delicious.
Yes.
I'm not gonna
Simple. It was
disagree.
just a sloppy Joe.
Enchilada, though. What was the enchilada?
Enchilada was a corn taco tortilla, with a scoop of meat inside of it, and then you rolled it over, flipped it over, covered it with sauce and cheese.
Oh.
So it was kind of a poor man's.
I gotcha.
Tamale and
yeah.
enchilada.
Joe,
Fucking
I agree,
delicious.
Joe. All of a sudden, we're craving food.
I'm craving the stuff that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's the other sad part. Is
Right.
I would do a Bell beefer if they still had them.
Oh yeah. Any time.
Maybe they could bring that back for just a
Yeah, but
limited
they have
run.
to bring back the
See,
real
they should.
the real ground beef too. Like that's not now it's
Whatever.
boiled on a bag beef, but back then it was like we
terrible.
ground that beef every day.
Yeah.
Like that was
Terrible.
fresh ground beef.
It's terrible.
And we made that spice every day too. We made that seasoning every
Mm.
single shift.
And now they don't.
No, it all comes.
It's all
it's
prepackaged
all
and done.
prepackaged.
Now that
and
PepsiCo
the meat
owns
is
it all.
it's boiled in a bag and you strain off the grease. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not okay.
Not the same.
Yeah,
Ms.
it
Ryer, would you like to take a story?
Well, I sure would.
Well, all right.
So, as we had talked about, there was a little bit of difficulty on the side of the Minnesota Vikings learning how to play football for the first time all season.
Apparently they didn't learn.
They did not learn. Not a goddamn lesson was had.
Okay.
But the fans, myself included, are still very good people.
Oh,
right?
yes. Can't take
Now,
that
the
away.
Philly fans, on the other hand, leave a lot to be desired. A lot to be desired.
Tell us.
So, we're going there. because I don't want to bag on people I don't know too much. I do appreciate.
I'll give you full license.
Well, thanks. I do appreciate the fact that there was a letter written to Amazon. Dear Amazon, anywhere but Philadelphia. And the letter goes, being from North Dakota, it takes a lot for us to get anywhere. When we choose to fly, longer layovers, fewer flight options, and bad weather all play a role. It just means we have more airport time. So I don't think you'll be surprised to learn that I'm not much of a fan of air travel or airports. Let me explain. Where's this going? Let me explain. I'm actually writing this letter to you en route home to North Dakota. Let's just say I've never been happier to be in the airport because, you see, that means I'm no longer in Philadelphia. I attended the NFC Championship game yesterday at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. As a longtime Vikings fan, I wanted my team to win. I wanted to see the Minnesota Vikings play in the Super Bowl in their hometown on their home field at US Bank Stadium. And I wasn't the only one. There were Viking fans all across the country who were doing Skol chants in their living rooms. Fair number of fans, including myself, my wife, my sister, my nephew, found their way to Philadelphia. We stayed in their hotels, we rode in their cabs, we ate at their restaurants, shopped in their stores. In doing so, we spent a lot of our own money in their city, the city of brotherly love. We helped provide a short-term economic boost in the form of tourism, and personally, I was happy to do it, but I won't be back.
And that's hard to come by in January
Sure, absolutely.
in Philadelphia.
But I won't be back. I won't ever spend another dime in that city. I'd rather it burns a hole in my pocket. It's a shame, really. If it were up to me, my grandkids would never go to Philadelphia. They would never get to see the Liberty Bell. They would never get to see the place where our great country started, where our forefathers signed the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States, two of the greatest pieces of American history. Get to it already, he's saying in parentheses. The reason for my letter is to explain to you that what I and numerous other Vikings fans experienced in Philadelphia as supporters of the visiting team, I have never seen such a display in my life. We had full beer cans thrown at us. We were shoved and spat upon. I was head-butted by a drunk Eagles fan. My wife and sister feared for their lives. And I've heard that, actually. That's not
Was that going to see a
being
Raiders
dramatic.
game?
Right.
Oh,
That's-
yeah, I would have no desire for that.
Another North Dakotan was beat up in a stadium bathroom. Just watch the videos. They're not hard to find. Where were the police, you ask? I'm asking myself that same question. Well, I did see some law enforcement officers. I saw one cop walk up to an Eagles tailgate and ask for a soda. He left with a red Solo cup filled with beer. I saw another cop witness someone being thrown to the ground, and he didn't so much as flinch. Keep moving, he said. I think I have your attention now. I repeat, I've never seen such a display. I'm 56 years old. I've been to Lambeau Field, Soldier Field, and countless other football stadiums. I know the passion that this game produces, but what is happening in Philadelphia is on an entirely different level. It's criminal, and the city, its leaders, and law enforcement are just letting it happen. This is almost done. But it's such a testament to the Donald Trump life that,
no.
everyone is just kind of... if
Any
you ask-
behavior is acceptable.
Exactly. Any behavior is acceptable. If you ask those in Philadelphia, I'm sure they'll call me a sore loser. Maybe visiting fans should just stay home. Oh, get over it, Vikings fan. Cry a little louder. That loss stings, yes, but the Eagles were the better team. They pummeled us. They won that game fair and square. There were no bad calls or dirty hits on the field. But it was in the stands and the tailgate lots and throughout the entire city, for that matter, where Philadelphia lost. Human decency was lost on Philadelphia. It brings me to my plea of you, Amazon, and your CEO, Jeff Bezos. Anywhere but Philadelphia. Do not build your $5 billion second headquarters in the city of brotherly love. Do not bring the stimulus of 50,000 new jobs there. As an Amazon customer, I want to continue to do business with your company. Please. Anywhere but Philadelphia. Which I thought was really an interesting take.
That is an interesting take.
Because he's right. This has nothing to do with poor sportsmanship. I mean, this, on the we
teams,
lost,
yeah.
blah, 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 boo-hoo. No. This is just, they were throwing full beer cans at pregnant women. They were...
Which is stupid because they can't drink it.
Well, there's that. My God, drink
Now
the
you're just
beer.
wasting
Drink
liquor.
the beer. They were going down. There was a wonderful story that was done first in Minnesota about a 99-year-old woman named Millie who had never been to a championship game, and so she was really excited to be at the game in Minnesota, and then what they came out with at the beginning of the game, for anyone who did see it, was a 99-year-old gentleman from Philadelphia who had never been to an NFC title game, right? So anyway, it was like these two lovely elderly people, and going down the streets in Philadelphia after the game were signs that people were holding like on sheets spread across the street saying "fuck Millie" and chanting "fuck you, Millie."
Oh, that's awful.
Right? I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. So I'm real hopeful for something like that it comes back, because the guy's right. Lots of money was spent there.
Sure.
Lots of money was spent there, and
And if
you
it
know,
turns into a thing like the Raiders had, we're like, no,
Right.
you just no one would go.
right.
Like you just don't want to go to a Raiders game because of the abuse and like.
So-
They tell you
force-
do not wear your
Oh, yeah.
jersey. Like if you go to a Raiders game or a Broncos game, do not wear your jersey.
Now, the question I have with regards to this Raiders thing is because aren't they the ones moving to Vegas?
I've got that all confused. I can't
Aren't the Oakland Raiders moving to
I-
Vegas?
I thought the Oakland Raiders moved to LA, but I don't
but
remember.
But
that's
aren't
the
they-
Rams?
Oh, the Rams.
I
Oh,
thought.
that's right. The
Rams
Rams went back to LA,
The
and
Raiders
the
are
Chargers went to
going-
LA. Yes, they are.
Yes.
Okay, so
And they're
with-
becoming like the Bandits or the Gamblers or the
Something,
one
yeah,
arm
yeah.
something or
okay,
other.
so does that mean that the Raiders are, in essence, dead? Does that mean it's over? From the standpoint of what you're saying is they've got a reputation of all the people that follow them. It's like a gang sign.
Oh,
it's horrible.
It sure is. It sure is.
And,
Yeah.
and you don't know because it was bad in LA. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that when I saw them play the Bills, they were in the Coliseum.
Okay.
I don't think I went to see them in Oakland. And I heard
it
that
got worse.
And I heard the behavior got worse in Oakland.
in Oakland.
Not only from the team,
I mean,
but from the
people
fans.
will-
No, not the
Pe-
team.
no,
Oh, not the team at all?
Not
Not
the
the
team. Not the
team.
team at all. It's not
It's
the team.
just
it's
the
the
fans.
fans.
People will, and as creepy as this, but people will sit in the stands if you're from the other team and pee in their cup. They'll get a cup so that they can urinate in it as opposed to going to the bathroom, because people have been taken out of there in stretchers because people are beating
Yeah,
them
and
up.
so I mean, not that I have any jerseys or anything, and it was just I was in
But you'd look stunning.
Hi, Bear.
in LA. You know what I mean? I was in LA. The chance came up to see a game, or I was with someone. I can't remember. Somebody, maybe it was my sister or my other friend that goes to all the games. But there was some reason why we went specifically to that game, and I didn't have anything to wear, but they did. And somebody told us, like, just wear a shirt. Just
Yep.
be quiet.
Be nondescript.
Yeah.
Be nondescript. Don't root for anybody.
And why are you at the game? Like, right? Not you
Right,
per
yeah.
se, but I'm just that, like, if I'm gonna go watch the Vikes play them, I'm not gonna be
And especially when
quiet.
you hear about somebody,
Right. But it's absurd. And if my biggest concern is because that's giving Philadelphia a huge black eye, right? A lot of this
and
behavior.
they're just starting to clean up their image.
seriously.
You know what I mean? They're just trying to get it together.
And they're just getting worse right now. Like it's just down.
They just got that airport back from a war zone.
That I didn't know.
Oh, it's the worst airport. That
Is it?
until recently
Okay.
was hell on earth. Like when you would, because to fly to Buffalo before the Southwest direct flight, you either had to fly Chicago, Pittsburgh, or Philly,
Okay.
and then take a puddle jumper the rest of the way to Buffalo. And oh my God, you'd be like, please God, not
Right.
Philadelphia,
Anywhere but.
anywhere but. Because Pittsburgh Airport, I used to say was like the internet. If it doesn't exist in the Pittsburgh Airport, it just doesn't exist. Just like the internet. Like if the Pittsburgh Airport was just a good time, you'd go and be like, I can just stay here. There's no reason to leave the Pittsburgh Airport.
I can live here.
Come visit me here. We can
Sure.
have dinner. We
Sure.
can shop.
It's open 24 hours.
If they put a movie theater in there, it would have been finished. It
Right.
would have just been done.
Okay.
And O'Hare is its own personal hell, but at
It
least
is,
there's stuff
but-
to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I mean, when you land in Philadelphia, you'd be like, were there any survivors?
this lost.
Although the last time I flew into LAX, I was like, so terrorist attack? Like, what
Yeah.
happened here?
yeah, that's what I've heard.
There's been a lot of construction, flipping where they all go, and they're trying to reorganize all that shit now.
And you feel like, so where did the airport used to be?
How did this? Yeah, I'm just hoping that on February 6th, when we sit down here, that I'm not just shaking my head and
There's
ready to just cry about Minneapolis acting like
because the people are going to make a trip, and they're going to go to the new stadium,
Right.
and they're going to be there in
Right. in their
Minneapolis.
regalia, and they're going to have all their stuff on. And my deal is ignore the behavior.
Yeah.
Just ignore the behavior. Minnesota stay away.
Enjoy the fact that you have tourists in February, because when does that happen?
When does that happen? And enjoy the income that'll be coming in, and just ignore the behavior.
Because there's no getting around it. The
No.
money comes in, and it trickles down to all the right people.
But you're going to have your assholes
Oh, of course, but
that
that's
will want to retaliate. And I'm like, no, just
No matter who wins.
no matter who wins.
Oh, not about
Right.
winning, but they'll just see the Philadelphia people
coming
there
in.
and be like, oh, you threw, you
Now,
know what I
yeah.
mean, and go
Right,
after
no, but
them.
what I'm saying is, regardless of the outcome of the game, it's either going to be we're going to tear up shit because we won,
Yeah.
or we're going to tear up shit because
Oh
we
no,
lost.
no,
Oh,
he's,
Philadelphia,
no, he-
you mean.
she's
Yeah.
talking about
Margarine is a girl.
Margarine, Margarine here is talking about the Minnesota people
Yes.
just instantly retaliating against.
no! I'm talking
Philadelphia
about.
coming
I
to
was.
And you're
Toronto.
right.
I was thinking the
hadn't
people
even
that are
gone
traveling
there.
from
Yeah.
Philly to come
Yeah.
over there and to be there at the game. They're bringing the same attitude,
And they're going to be just as drunk after that game.
right?
But I'm
And
kind of
all
rooting
the
for him if
times
you're
before.
throwing stuff
I'm
at
not.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Don't throw stuff at the fans. Throw it directly at Tom
and
Brady's
for
head.
the way that they played, I mean,
Yeah.
for real.
I'm just saying,
But-
if you're going to behave badly,
Right.
focus your energy on Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, sure.
I mean,
fair enough.
if we
Pick
can,
a single victim.
if we can Nancy Kerrigan him,
Stop.
just throwing it out
I don't wish anyone. Why?
there. No, I dislike him. The more I read about him for the
Yeah.
last 55 years, however long that fucker's been playing football,
Sure.
the more my dislike for him is
Sure.
it burns with like the brightest of suns.
Justified.
That's fair.
He's just a douche.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
And a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And
All
just
those things.
just a privileged white.
Well, and you know
dick.
that the
And
dumpster fire is
Belichick
going to be
is-
there. Why would he not be at the Super Bowl?
Oh God.
No, I don't.
'Cause of Brady.
I don't
think so.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't go last year, and Brady was in there. Brady still keeps it on the down low that they
Oh, I
like
thought
each other.
there was a big thing.
And
Maybe
then I
it's just
found out that
Jesus.
Roethlisberger, or whatever the fuck his
Ben
name is,
Roethlisberger,
from
the Steelers.
the Steelers, is the one that was bringing hookers and porn stars to Trump. Turns out he's in the bag too.
Oh.
Turns out not just a date rapist, but a total
Yes.
fucking tool too.
Wow.
Wow.
I
These
know.
things make
My
sense.
boycott of football is
Wow.
getting more and more sincere.
Wow.
Like they just need to retire Tom Brady and just bury him up to the neck on a shore. Is that too much? Is that too far?
maybe
And maybe put some
a
honey
little,
on his head.
I'm a little
maybe
sleepy.
a little.
There's that.
All right, so X Prize ends its $30 million race to the moon without a winner. The privately funded trip to the moon will have to wait. The X Prize Foundation is ending its Google-sponsored, so I guess that's the one problem, is when the sponsor drops off.
Right.
It's been a decade-long competition to land a robot on the moon without choosing a winner. This means none of the 5 final teams will get the $20 million grand prize or the additional $10 million in other prizes. The nonprofit says it's still figuring out what will happen next, adding that it might find another sponsor to fund the contest instead of Google. It did expect a winner by now, 10 years later, but said that none of the teams will try to launch before the March 31st deadline. It added that the competition ended because of the difficulties of fundraising, technical, and regulatory challenges. Because you're going to the fucking moon, assholes.
Right.
The goal of the competition was to stimulate private space travel entrepreneurship. All successful trips to the moon have been government funded, and moon-based activity has been mostly scientific in nature, but private space travel could potentially enable different projects, the moon-based tourism or mining. To win the contest, a team had to land an unmanned spacecraft on the moon, wander around the surface for 500 meters, and beam videos and photos back to Earth. The deadline for doing so has been pushed back a couple times. I got excited by this story because I thought this was about some asshole winning a trip to the moon and be like, wander around 500 feet, come back to us,
Here's a flag.
take a picture.
There's a car up there if you can find it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You'll get a car.
Pretty sure. You in a car.
It's
you in a car.
501 meters from the
Okay.
vehicle.
Excuse me. Point of order. Bear Walker in the chat room. I don't know
love
if
that.
you've lost your mind, your glasses. Are you holed up in a Motel 6 somewhere because of snow? But the fact that you're claiming that I'm looking rather buff is humorous to me. Because this is
You
I'm
look good.
I'm eating pimento cheese spread that my mother made with club crackers.
I say with a fork.
There's nothing healthy going on here. But thank you. I mean, I don't know if it, plus I blend into the black chairs, so I just don't know if it.
Is the B next to the R?
Yeah.
On
Oh, I could be looking rather
Maybe.
rough. I see.
Oh, it's so
I
funny.
got you. All right.
Just kidding. Just
Oh,
kidding. You
Matt
look
Bear's like,
darling.
shut up,
My
Clayton.
favorite response to
You
that
look-
is,
you look-
get thee to a lens crafters.
You can see this in about an hour.
So I was hoping this was like the Mars thing, where like, but I guess if you go to the moon, you can come back. Whereas Mars,
What's closer?
Yeah,
That's
it's a
funny.
couple miles.
Sure.
It's like 2 blocks that way and then 1 over.
Yeah. In Al's direction.
In Al's directions, yeah. No, you can walk there. We can just
Sure.
walk.
Come on.
Is there a
Famous
Waze
last
app
words.
for that?
I'm sure there is.
For real.
In fact, speaking of Waze, I just said that to him. I see Bear Walker more often on the Waze app. Like, because when I drive around town,
Yep.
it pops up. It tells you who your contacts, like if it knows your contacts from either, I don't know if it's your phone or from Facebook or where it picks it up from,
Okay.
but it'll come up and say, your contact, Bear Walker's online, and you can hit up a button and beep at him or whatever. So contacts pop up, but he's
He's a
always
fucking
on it.
Roadrunner.
He's all over the place.
I love it. Hello,
No,
Annette.
you can hit a button and wave at, like beep at him, say like, hey girl.
Hey, go
Hey,
ahead.
hey.
You so extra, Bear Walker.
Because he was driving around in the Midwest. He was in northern Kansas.
I gotta get a beer.
Well, they're right there.
I know.
Actually, Bear Walker was in, like he was at the extreme northern border of the Kansas state, and he checked in somewhere. He had driven, I believe, and our condolences. I believe he was coming home from his father's funeral, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Bear.
sorry.
So he had stayed overnight in a Motel 6 or something. I forget what it was. But I literally saw the post on Facebook and I had to look it up. I'm like, where in the hell is this city in? It's a tiny city in northern Kansas.
I
Anyway,
have
oh,
not been.
Jenny, you're a kind person there. That's very nice of you.
I like it.
Please remember that all of my photos, except for the one you're seeing right now, are photoshopped. Because I have a great photographer. Look at Al pouring a beer look at you.
That's fantastic.
That literally, he turned water into beer because that was a water glass 10 minutes ago.
That's right.
Don't doubt my fucking powers.
I
Mama
like
needs a
it.
drink.
Oh. Well, as jokes go, this one's pretty chill, and I'm sure several of you have seen this on the news and the interwebs, but a Montreal, that'd be in Canada, or Canada, depending on how you look at it,
The beautiful country of Canada.
a Montreal man pulled a fast one on local police this month when he created a replica of a DeLorean sports car featured in the movies Back to the Future. His name was Simon Laprice, built an icy imitation in a snow removal zone outside of his home, according to CBS affiliate WGCL. A police officer was fooled by the car snowman, if you will, and called another cop for backup. They eventually realized it was fake and gave him a faux parking ticket, but here is what he'd put out in front of his house. In a snowbank, he carved a car.
Oh,
Well, 1, it's time to move.
well,
And 2, that's cool.
it is cool.
Why is it time to move? Oh, because of fucking snow?
All the snow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because there's enough snow that you're making car-sized sculptures.
the follow-up to the story says the prank might have warmed the hearts of the police and other people, but sanitation workers reportedly plowed through it the next day.
Well,
But-
we're all gonna die.
But you know why he can't move? He got health care up there.
Ah.
He's going to stay there because that country cares. Ms. Ryer.
Wait,
Yes,
Joe.
well-
Joe, we have to address the wine situation
Oh, stand
because
by.
of the convenience of the fridge next to me. Last week, I drank the entire bottle of wine without realizing it.
Yeah, got here and, well, usually during the day, sometimes he'll text and ask what supplies are still here. But today didn't happen. So,
Boldly confident that
yes.
there was half a bottle of it, but it was that Puy Fusé, and it does go down like a.
Now, if you'll recall, there's vodka and cranberry juice in the other fridge.
Oh, I know. I can't
But you have to
remember.
walk to it. I know.
Yeah.
God damn.
Sons of bitches.
Oh, Ryer, what you got?
Well, have you ever heard of a poop knife?
Yes, because I saw the story.
Oh God!
Because I saw the story.
Swear to God, that made me hold my breath. Clutch my pearls.
Oh,
What is he talking
I
about?
wasn't trying to be extra.
I
Oh,
was.
I just
you were? 'Cause
no. I
thought,
saw
oh
this
my
story.
God.
of
Also,
the
we needed a drinking word.
poop knife. Is that it?
No, so extra.
Oh, Clayton, you did. You had me a little startled.
But I
there.
refused to read
Yeah.
the story because I saw where it was going.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, no, we're done.
Oh
you-
no,
would-
bring it home. Tell me.
Okay.
Oh no,
all
I
right.
don't want you. Don't want her to stop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, no.
So when I heard about this so-called poop knife, I thought it had to be a phrase from like Cards Against Humanity or something. Unfortunately, I was very much mistaken. The poop knife was shared with us by a Reddit user named Learned Butt. And I'm equally confused and disgusted. This can't be a common thing, can
If I
it?
can find a picture.
His story begins with sharing how his family has some sort of genetically enhanced super pooping thing. I don't know. Don't look at me. Things only seem to get stranger as the entire story begins to unfold, and I'm just hoping Learned Butt and his family is the only family with this poop knife. So Learned Butt says, as we like to call him, my family poops big. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. If
Jesus
anyone has
Christ.
laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. Growing up, this was common enough occurrence that our family had a poop knife. It was an old rusty kitchen knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose.
And you had to walk from the laundry room
That's
back
what
to the
I was
bathroom.
thinking,
You gotta,
yes.
oh.
It was normal to walk through the hallway and have someone call out, "Hey, can you get me the poop knife?" It was. I thought it was a standard kit.
I would move.
Totally. You have your plunger, you have your toilet brush, and you have your poop knife.
Well, I think if you if you don't use the utensils correctly, you're going to have a bigger problem on your hands.
You very
Because
well
if you go plunger first rather than poop knife, oh dear God, oh my God, yeah,
Problem.
yeah.
So fast forward to 22, and it's been a day or two between poops, and I'm over at my friend's house. My friend was the local dealer and always had guests over because you can't buy weed without sitting on your ass and sampling it for an hour. I excuse myself and
Seems
lay
fair.
a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one, so I crack the door and call it to my friend. He arrives and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? He says. Your poop knife, I say.
My what?
I need to use it. Please. The fuck is a poop knife? His friend, the dealer, as it were, asks. Obviously he has one, but maybe he calls it a more delicate name. A fecal cleaver? A dung divider?
Oh my God.
God, I bet Kat's happy she's missing this show.
I explain what it is I want and why I want it. He starts giggling, then laughing, then lots of people start laughing. It turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. It also turns out that none of them had poop knives. It was just my fucked up family with their fucked up bowels. I told this to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. Turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rusty knife hanging in the utility closet
Stop.
No.
Stop.
as a basic utility knife. Thankfully, she didn't cook with it,
Oh God.
but used it to open Amazon boxes.
Oh.
She will be getting her own utility
Welcome
knife
to
now.
Philadelphia.
A common question. Why was this not in the bathroom instead of the laundry room?
Right.
One asked. Well, we only had one poop knife, and the laundry room was central to all three bathrooms. I have no idea why we didn't have three poop knives. All I know is that we didn't. We had the one, possibly because my father was notoriously cheap about the weirdest things. So yes, we shared our poop knife. Now, for the most part, people seem to be shocked by these gross antics. I'm sure almost everyone has a similar reaction when reading this, and that is, what the fuck? I could be wrong, though. There seems to be a fair amount of people who shared that they, too, have some form of poop utensil. Is this a secret that I don't know about? Like, do my best friends have poop knives? Where do you keep it? So many questions that I don't think I want the answers to. Either way, there was a shocking number of people who feel Learned Butt's antics aren't too far-fetched.
Where do you keep your poop knife?
Well,
I hate
Well.
I hate that comes over and the first thing they do is
I'm with you,
take
Harrison.
a shit.
Yeah, my fucked up family and their fucked up bowels.
I mean, but
for
healthy.
real. But healthy, apparently.
Full of
Oh,
fiber.
that's gross.
For real. I don't know what to tell you.
Do not do laundry at their house when there's a poop knife hanging there.
No.
At eye
No.
level.
No. Poop knife is barbaric. Somebody said our family uses poop scissors.
Oh. What
Oh.
the fuck is wrong with German people?
I don't-
Shizer videos. You know what
Other
I mean?
families use spatulas apparently,
Oh,
and they call
stop,
it the
stop.
shatula.
That's funny.
The what?
The shatula.
Shut up. This
God.
this is not
Damn,
right.
no wonder your computer's broken. It's
I
the
know.
internet sites you visit.
I'm telling you.
Your computer is trying to
Tell you
commit
something.
suicide.
I'm telling you.
Trying to
It's
tell
a
you
true
something.
story. It's a true story that is probably why my Mac is on the attack.
So, say, wow.
Yes. When
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
God bless me. That's all.
Oh, well, welcome aboard.
Does anybody else have any kind of? No.
Nope, and I wouldn't tell you if I did. And I wouldn't keep it in my laundry room.
Nope. I'm just saying. I just thought. I'm asking just like Learned Butt.
Yep. I mean, is there, yeah, no.
You know,
I
there's
can't.
some stories you just don't have a comeback to.
No.
You just got to
And
move on. You just got to move on.
You just got to move on. Okay, so Santa Just Is White famous Megyn Kelly is
Oh,
in
she's-
some kind of on her own feud with Jane Fonda.
Oh, she is. She is because. Oh,
Now, Jane Fonda made it onto that shit show of a daytime.
just is white.
there you go.
She made it onto the Jane Fonda wandered onto the Megyn Kelly show for something, and
I don't. It's,
I can't remember what the original thing was about, but Megyn Kelly made it about plastic surgery.
it was about a new
Correct.
series that Jane Fonda was promoting. I don't remember the name of it, but I heard a little bit about the story. She was,
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it was about. She was pushing something, and it turned into like this plastic surgery. And Megyn Kelly thought she was gonna give her a
Oh, it's about.
Oh,
It was a series about being young or feeling young or something. That's
Okay.
that's what got them there.
Well, I mean that kind of makes sense,
But still.
it was just kind of uncomfortable. And of course, Megyn Kelly was trying to make it sound like, oh, she was just trying to give her a chance to help younger women make decisions about plastic surgery. Bullshit. You were just out there trying to score points. And what the fuck is Jane Fonda doing? Well, because she's now under the auspices of NBC and the Today Show,
Sure.
that you think she's not going to still be a cunt. But Megyn Kelly just can't help it. So
story.
Jane Fonda has been on. She was on the Today Show with the new hosts Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb, and in a Variety interview, Jane Fonda has said that Kelly's question was so inappropriate. So now at the end of Megyn Kelly's show, she went to this like close up, kind of in the way she did when she talked about like sexual abuse in the workplace or sexual harassment in the workplace because of everything that was happening at Fox
Sure,
News.
with Dale,
That she
right.
was on women's side for the first time in her fucking life.
Right.
So she like stood and faced the camera and said, "I have no regrets about that question, nor am I in the market for a lesson on what is or is not appropriate." The woman whose name is synonymous with outrage, honestly, she has no business lecturing me on what qualifies as offensive. And then she goes into like the whole Hanoi Jane from like
Right.
almost 50 years ago.
Movie she and Robert Redford did. What?
Oh, that's right. It was she and Robert Redford were just in a movie this past fall.
Right. Yep.
I forgot
yep,
about that.
yep.
So
That's
all
right,
of a
Mama
sudden,
died.
the
Thank you.
Vietnam War is back. 50 years later, and Megyn Kelly has decided that that's what she's going to bring up.
Sure.
So
And the look on Jane Fonda's face when she says, "We're going to talk about that,"
That-
like, what the fuck? It's literally. I wish Jane would have said that.
yeah. So I mean, The View got into it, and Joy Behar was like, Jane should have just said to her, "And how much work have you had, bitch?" And then Joy came back later in the show and apologized for calling her a bitch because she's met Megyn Kelly a few times and thought that that was inappropriate lady bashing. And then Whoopi Goldberg brought up Kelly's own past controversies. And Whoopi Goldberg says, "Megyn, if I can forgive you for telling all of my friends' black children that Santa is only white, you can step back. Because you made a mistake. We all make mistakes. You got to lighten up, babe. Jane made a mistake and she's copped to it. And as she had said, that will haunt her to her dying day. She's aware, believe me, and she knows how Fox News has used that and how it's portrayed her. She knows and she's doing her best. But for you to do that is so not you." So...
Santa just is white.
Right. So for this cunty McCuntstein to all of a sudden, like, just be on Jane Fonda for the Vietnam War, like, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Right.
And, you know, the Megyn Kelly, and one of the best things about it, I love year-end wrap-ups. I'm obsessed with them. I did have an obsession. I forgot about that. So I love reading year-end
Sure.
year-end wrap-ups,
Sure.
like the best of the year, the worst of the year, the moments you can't forget, the things that, like, you can't stop watching,
Yep.
like poop knives.
Right.
And the one thing that everyone agrees on is
Not to
how
be
bad
poop scissors.
how bad the Megyn Kelly hour of the Today Show is. And everyone is like, how can they buy out this contract? Like, it's so awkward and
Oh.
uncomfortable. I only watched 2 episodes, and I'm like,
I haven't seen any of them.
it's
No.
just she's trying to be human, and
Right.
they forget whoever
forget
you know
that she
the
can't
people from
be?
Fox didn't program her like that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
she's not.
And it just
You're exactly
she
right.
doesn't come across. She has no moments where you think she has any sense of humanity.
Even
Right,
watching the
there's no
promotions for it, when she does a little
warmth, there's
teaser,
nothing, yeah.
you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, and when they did that whole like, this is me, I know she was reinventing herself, and like, you know, rainbows and puppy dogs were following
no,
her around to
fuck
like
her.
the Mary Tyler Moore theme, and you're just like, oh, you're missing like your people. Just go
Right.
back to your maker and have them try one more
Well,
time.
Roger
to get
Ailes
you.
is dead yet now, so she
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
She can't go back to the maker.
Geppetto or whatever his name is died.
Yes. So
she'll,
like in
she'll never be
Right.
a real girl. And it
Well,
really
she
is.
is. She's a Stepford. She's a total Stepford wife.
Yeah, and like even when it came to that thing about like harassment and trying to like stand up for women,
Right.
it just kept ringing of, you've done nothing but be anti-women
right.
for the bulk
So
of your
it's
career.
little
Sure.
too much, too much,
Sure.
too little, too late.
Yeah, yeah, it's just
And nobody's believing in you.
Yeah.
No.
No, I would love to see
and it's one of
NBC
those
get out
things
of
where
that.
like, you know, there's never it's never too late to do the right thing. So it's good that she like tries, but at the same time, you'd be like, if you were like holding hands with her, and you'd be like,
No.
Speaking of other things that NBC has gotten themselves into that they shouldn't have, last night on Colbert. By the way, were you done with your story, Mr. Perkins?
Yeah, that was it, that
okay. Last night on Colbert, and,
is,
and by
Monday.
all means, it's online. You can find it. It was fun to watch. Ann Curry was a guest on Stephen Colbert, and she is 63 years old. Looks fantastic.
I
Looks
did
fantastic.
not know that.
63. She's got over coming up on 4 decades as a reporter in the media. But what was interesting is, so in light of everything that's going on, Colbert asks her, "So, do you have any comments on the Matt Lauer situation?" And she kind of smiles. She's like, "No, I don't." And he goes, "Do you have a non-disclosure?" And she goes, "Yeah, but I can talk about some things." And he goes, "Well, what exactly is the non-disclosure?" She goes, "Not that." Well, it was a very cute how she dodged and went around some stuff. But he then brought up, he goes, did you hear when this all happened? Did you hear about the, and by the way, for those of you who don't know where I'm going with the story, Ann Curry was on the Today Show on NBC. Another mistake that NBC let happen, that they let her get away because dumbass, basically, he forced her out of the show.
Yeah, he didn't like her.
He didn't like her at all. So anywho, Colbert says to her, "Well, did you know about the somewhere Ann Curry is thing that happened?" And she goes, "Well, I heard a little about it." But really, she knew everything about it. So he pulled up a thing of all of the tweets where it says, somewhere in the world, Ann Curry just added vodka to her, or champagne to her orange juice.
Yeah.
The whole thing about all of the things, because when Lauer got kicked out, I figured there was a celebration that happened somewhere for Ann Curry because she got just muscled out of the entire Today Show because Lauer didn't like her at all.
I did.
And
not realize
I
that,
always
yeah.
loved Ann Curry.
Oh,
I didn't pay any attention.
Oh,
to that.
got
I didn't know
shoved clear out
oh,
of
and
there.
it was so awkward. Her goodbye.
Yeah.
And then he
Like it
How
was,
long ago was
like
that?
literally, they came
2
back
or
from a
3 years ago.
like they
Okay.
came back from a commercial break, and she was just gone. Like it was so
I feel
horrible.
like you guys talked about that.
I
And he
think we
goes
have
to like,
before.
I
he
think I was
went to
still
like
drinking
hug her, and find it on YouTube. It's so awful.
Oh.
But when you find it on YouTube, and he goes to like give his like fake support, exactly, and
Yeah,
she
ew.
just like it's kind of like Melania,
Slaps
yeah,
it.
swapping
slap
the
it.
hand away.
So it was very cute. Again, if you can find it online, Colbert, the Late Show with Colbert and Ann Curry, and it was very cute about how she dodges and goes around this little thing, and it was very cute. But anyway, NBC is fucked up. They did that with Deborah Norville.
Yep.
They screwed up
was
that with the
great.
whole bringing Deborah Norville in and pushing Jane
the All
Pauley
About Eve
out.
plot.
They did that, and then they did it with Ann Curry, and now finally they got dumbass out. Now I don't recall if I'm not. I don't think Lauer was there for the Deborah Norville thing. I think that goes back to Gumbel. Because Jane Pauley was there. Pauley was never there with Matt Lauer.
I don't
No,
think
was
so.
always there with Gumbel.
They're,
So-
That
they're
was a
separated.
long-
So
yeah,
that
they're
goes-
separated by like a decade.
And by the way, for those of you that care, I love Jane Pauley. I always have. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jane Pauley now is if you don't know, she's the host of CBS Sunday Morning. So every Sunday
right.
morning you can watch the 2-hour show.
Sure.
It's all happy news. Like it's all good news, good things. Anyway, she's Oh yeah, Mom, don't watch her show, won't read her book.
Yeah, and-
there's no point into it.
And Jenny, a lot of people that I know have read her book and say good things about it. I just can't bring myself to do that because everything about her just kind of ugh.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all I hear is her screaming, "Santa just is white." So I'm
Right.
completely biased.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's
Santa just is white.
yeah. There it is.
That's
That's
it.
exactly it.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
I noticed in the old chat room up there, Jenny was asking about the refrigerator. Was a little confused about the Vowel Memorial. It's the Val, and I'm going to show you. This is here's a picture. It's a little refrigerator in the corner of the studio now that Al can just reach right over and get beverages out of. And apparently last week it was so close that he literally drank all of his wine. But anyway, there's a picture of the fridge. It used to be a refrigerator that my mom had in her office back in the day. And here's the name placard on it. It is the Val Perkins Memorial Refrigerator.
Which makes
And
it
Val.
better sense.
And as Joe pointed out in the chat room, and we all know, the memorial is silent.
it is
Very much
absolutely, absolutely silent.
Well,
Good call.
moving on to other fun stories. I just some people you just have to love. A photo editing battle has
Are
erupted.
there other choices?
You're right.
Not
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly.
No.
A photo editing battle has erupted over this somewhat unsettling snapshot of President Dumbass with his face on a stack of German newspapers. Now, to show you what this started out looking like, that's it's above the fold, like at the fold is where his mouth is, right? So that meme grew
That's
into
fantastic.
I think that's the actual shot of a stack of papers that were just there. Clearly the fold makes it look funny and that's how it looks. Well,
That's awesome.
people got to working on the old Photoshop and they went on and did some pictures of their own. They put him in this one.
That's awesome.
Al's busy reading. So they put Trump in that one.
The scream.
They put Trump in this one.
Oh,
They did it. This I don't know if this is another famous picture that they've put that in. I'm not sure. Painting. This one made
I'm not sure either.
this one made me laugh.
Fox News debate.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
put him in that one.
Oh.
This one I loved.
Joconde.
I was laughing at this one. This one's cracked me up because he's a hamburger.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And this one was in the series, but it doesn't make sense because it's not the same picture. But I have to show it because I love it so much from the standpoint of he's not Canadian yet. They've got him in there.
Yeah, with the Canadian
South
head.
The Canadian head, because in all of the South Park series, the Canadians' heads are separate like that.
Yep.
Just-
That's
I don't know why
funny.
that was in there, but
That
it was.
Obama is disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's how they all are. But I just
it.
I love what the South Park people do with the
Yeah.
Canadian people. I've got somebody play that footage of as is with tradition. The prince is sticking his arms in butterscotch pudding. It is with tradition, and they do this whole thing with the wedding. It just cracks me up.
The last 2 weeks, love it or leave it. Love it or leave it. Respected on both sides. I watch it so much I know the theme song. I watch it. Listen, the podcast Love It or Leave It has been on fire so far for 2018. I had given up on podcasts for a little bit because I have found their politics to be not funny anymore. Like, I just could not find my way to a humorous angle to all of this.
Okay.
Like, just anything political, and I just want to, like, light my hair on fire and go screaming into the night. But luckily,
Fair.
Love It has brought it back. The most recent one was was live the night from last Friday with the shutdown. That was hysterical. Well, then they did a show in London. I think it was like a week old. I don't think it was older than a week old.
Okay.
And I'm gonna forget his name. I gotta look it up. From the British Office, Stephen, whatever his name is.
Oh, Fry.
No, the other Stephen, the really really tall awkward guy.
Sondheim.
let me find his name. But he's there. They have some British people, including one British comedian who was in the audience for the first show, and they invited him on stage for the second show.
Oh.
Like, they were so excited to see like a famous British comedian sitting there. They're like, "What the fuck? Come be on the panel."
Come on, right?
So, give me a second, because he is one of the funniest people. He's from Hello, Ladies, but why can I not think of his name?
Yeah.
Hold
Stephen
on.
Fry is the one that I.
And for those of you wondering-
Stephen Fry
familiar.
is very
For
also very
those
funny.
of you wondering what it's not Love It or Leave It like the TV show about houses. It's Love It. Love It's the last name of the gentleman who does the podcast.
Oh, his name is Stephen Merchant. I thought that was wrong.
Okay, so and his name is John Lovett, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, unfortunately they both have names from Crooked Media. They both have names of other famous
Other people, right?
Right.
Because he
Thank
always has
you.
to say
That's
not
it,
that one.
Yes.
Yeah, because
the
it's
John Lovett. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right,
and
right.
there's
not
there's
SNL.
John Favreau
Yeah.
that's not John Favreau.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But they were Obama speechwriters. They now have Crooked Media, and they do Pod Save America, Love It or Leave It, Pod Save the World. I think they have like 4 or 5 podcasts on there, and they're
okay.
all funny. They do their own commercials. But Stephen Merchant, who's just reliably funny, is in the audience, and at some point he talks about his past working for the BBC and how the BBC just goes out of their way to present a balanced argument at all times, and then it just reaches an absurd level to balance out content. So he would just, anytime a story was coming up about American politics, he would just be like, and as a member of the BBC, I must do this. And he would like give you the counterpoint to justify whatever horror was being talked about. But with that British smarmy humor, it was so perfect.
And again, this is Love It or Leave It. What was the name of it?
It's not the
It's
newest.
Live from London.
I think it's Live from London. But oh my God, if they were smart, they would have called it London Calling. But I don't know if they did.
But they can't hear you right now, so.
Yeah. So I have one more. We do.
Please.
Okay.
No, go ahead and do your headline.
Because we
Marnie,
have
do
a
you have
happy
another?
story.
Go ahead.
Tammy Duckworth will be the first
Yes.
senator to give birth while in the Senate.
Oh.
She told the Chicago Sun-Times that she's expecting her second child in April. She had her first child. That's really soon. She had her first child, a daughter named Abigail, while serving in the House. The senator's staff confirmed the baby news to USA Today. They're thrilled that they're getting a little bigger. This isn't the first for Duckworth. She was also the first disabled female to take a seat in the U.S. House. She's a retired lieutenant colonel who served in the Iraq War, where she lost both her legs when her helicopter was shot down in 2004. She was elected to the Senate in 2016, and she has been on a tear lately, calling Trump a draft dodger, and she has had some shit to say about Donald Trump lately.
Yes.
And there is a thought going around the world and the political specter that she's gunning for a vice presidential.
No.
Like, she is making herself vocal and seen enough so that when 2020 comes around, I don't think she's known enough to be the top of the ticket. But I mean, there's still we have a couple
lot of
years to
time,
go.
right.
But they're saying like she is the like whoever gets the top spot, she is on the short list for like.
No, VP.
You can't argue with like combat veteran, very smart, accomplished, experienced in the government, from all sides. Like, she's just well liked, except by Trump.
Oh,
Because of her li- because
most
of her-
everybody's
because
not
of her
like
lady parts.
Yep.
She's
So-
an
Because
actual
of her
woman.
lady part.
Well, and he doesn't like people who serve that like lose limbs and stuff. He wants.
Oh, yeah.
He wants you to come back fully intact.
Well, it's just like McCain,
right.
right? I
Exactly.
mean, if you get
I like war heroes that aren't captured. Dickhead.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I like people that go to war that don't get injured.
Which, I mean, she.
I like
she
people
went,
that go to war. How about that?
Yeah.
We don't like you, Bone Spur.
Yeah.
and she went off.
That's
Good.
Awesome.
So
yeah,
good for
she did.
her.
I didn't, oddly, I don't know why, but I did not know that about her disability. I didn't realize that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
nothing. I don't know why I never knew that, but I didn't because it's really not a focal point in her politics. To me,
And
it's not.
we've come so far in the story that becomes a
Doesn't-
back burner
right,
thing. Like
right.
once you're introduced to her, it doesn't
Well,
come up
and
very often anymore.
Wasn't it back in the day Roosevelt that one of the big things was about him being in the chair.
Right.
Oh, to not be
And
seen in the
to
chair.
not be
Right.
seen, and that was a weakness. And then flash forward to JFK, and no one could know about his back
Right.
and
Yeah,
and
his
all of that kind
disability
of
and
stuff.
his weakness. Yeah.
But
And being
the
Catholic.
And now we-
That was another
was
issue.
the biggest handicap.
And
but-
now it's the time of like it's not the defining thing about her in any way,
Right.
shape, or form.
Right.
Exactly.
No.
Well, look at Bob Dole. I didn't realize.
Wow. Did you just see the?
You
recent
just thought he
news-
really needed
I
a pen.
did. No.
Wow.
No. No, but just the idea that I knew that he had that issue with his arm. I just didn't realize how much he had done. I didn't
Yeah.
realize
He was
what
part
he had
bionic.
gone through.
Right.
Yeah, that was, and interestingly enough, I don't want to give Dickbag any credit, but for the first time that I've ever, and I'm not talking as president, I'm saying in general, he actually seemed interested in what Bob Dole was saying.
Like
I
you
don't
paid
know,
attention to
like
it?
he paid attention,
Oh.
and that he smiled at the right times, and like it didn't seem teleprompter-ish and nothing. Not that he was speaking; he was truly just listening.
Oh,
So
A
he is
moment of-
capable of listening.
A moment of
It
clarity.
appeared that
Well,
way. and I
that,
thought,
Parkinson's
wow.
does that to you, and
Yeah.
and so and I mean Alzheimer's does that to you.
Alzheimer's does that
Not
too.
Parkinson's. I was
Well,
thinking of Neil Diamond.
He may have been, which I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about before, and then I just.
Oh,
saw
you just
that.
found that out. Well, we're going to talk about it in entertainment. In fact,
sad.
let's go over what Al's got coming up in entertainment right now.
Oscars. Who will win? Oscar. Who will win? So the Oscar nominations came out. The PGA Awards were announced. The SAG Awards are this weekend. So we have, a couple clear front runners and a little couple snubs and surprises. And then we quickly have a new television obsession that I know because of the writer-producer is going to go off the rails at some point, or it may not. But
Oh.
it's on the air, and it's worth. The first episode was very worth watching, so I gotta pee.
Okay. We'll be back right after this. It's hour 3. Al starts it off with entertainment right after this. Stick with us.
Look how many people didn't know.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates, radio, the sound of year-round pleasure.
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
All right, boys and girls, guess what? We're back. It's hour 3 starting off. It's another lovely chilly night in the Valley of the Sun here as we experience our winter 2018 is what we're in right now. For those of you who aren't listening to this from the future, we're in the year 2018. I'm here alongside Marnie Ryer and Al Perkins. Also, don't forget in the corner right over here to my right, Al's left, is the Val Perkins Memorial Refrigerator.
Hi, Val.
Al is enjoying
Hey,
a
Val,
summer
hey.
shandy out of it. He drank all the wine, so he's suffering with beer, but it's good, right?
No, it's very tasty.
Very tasty, he
Yeah,
says.
it's certainly not summer, but
A little lining kugels.
There's
yeah.
that.
Can't ever
By the way,
hurt
there's no
anybody.
knife in that bathroom, is there, Albert? No
I
knife?
hope- I
Okay,
hope
good.
not.
I just wanted to check. All right, good to know. Anywho, we've been through so much already. We've got a little more to do. Everybody in the chat room, hang on. Boys and girls, it's time for entertainment with Al Perkins.
Well, it turns out she's not from Illinois. Where is
Wisconsin. Not Wisconsin?
I thought it was Wisconsin.
I really did.
By the way, that
All
was a shitty segue. I led you right to your entertainment section.
I know. So, but we were reading because she's a U.S. senator, and I thought she was from Wisconsin. So anyway, so the PGA, the
Really?
Producers Guild Awards, were this weekend. The Producers Guild are usually good at picking Best Picture because they do the same weird ass weighted ballot. But there were some cool winners. So the Stanley Kramer Award for like Visionary Director went to Get Out, the movie that just keeps winning awards. Lifetime Achievement Award in Television went to Ryan Murphy. I think it's a little early for a Lifetime
I think it's a
Achievement
little
Award.
early. Yeah, that's early.
But he's been busier than a motherfucker the last few years. Outstanding Short Form Program went to Carpool Karaoke.
Oh, wow.
Which is fun. Outstanding Producer of Documentary Theatrical Motion Picture went to Jane, about Jane Goodall, which was shockingly left off of the Best Documentary at the Oscars. Outstanding Production of Animated Theatrical Motion Pictures went to Coco.
Oh, so good.
An Outstanding Producer of Theatrical Motion Pictures went to The Shape of Water, which is turning it into kind of a two-horse race now, where The Shape of Water wins with the Producers Guild, which has got a really strong track record of picking Best Picture, except for the last couple years they've been off, but I think they're like 17 out of 21 or something for picking Best
okay.
Picture because of the using that same weighted ballot. But then at the SAG Awards, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, and the Actors Guild is the biggest guild, the most members, won the SAG Award for Best Ensemble. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything exciting at Julia Louis-Dreyfus at the SAG Awards became the most honored actor ever at that particular thing. She won her 9th SAG Award.
Wow.
And her 5th or 6th consecutive for Veep and Veep 1 for ensemble and for comedy ensemble. Again, because there is just nothing funnier than that fucking show.
No.
And that show is now done, right?
No, it's got one more
season.
One
Okay.
more season, which as soon as she's done with treatment and on the mend from her breast cancer, they will be filming again.
Got it.
So I'm trying to think of.
There was one. It is Illinois. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
well
sorry.
Done. Well done, Jenny. I honestly thought Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing the role of Cat, Mama Dad.
Yeah, Mama Die.
Was it cinematography that was the first woman ever nominated?
Yes, we're getting to the Oscars.
I'm
Settle down.
jumping ahead. I'm jumping ahead. My bad.
So that
It's
was
not your segment, Marnie.
that
It's
was-
Al's.
My bad.
So that was the Screen Actors Guild.
I
So
just
then-
want him to know I'm interested.
Yeah.
There you
yeah.
and thank you.
Finally,
You're
5
welcome.
years.
It took a
Thank
while.
you. So then
Ah.
the nominations came out today.
Oh, yes.
For the Oscars.
Were you up early for that?
Yeah, well, I was working,
Oh.
so I told them at work that the only way I could come in is if I could have my break at 6:22 for the beginning of the announcements, and so that's when I took my break. And then someone came up to ask me a question. I'm like, seriously,
I'm on a fucking break.
I'm on a fucking break. Like this be for real.
We're coding over here, Al. What do you got? Listen, they're getting to Best
Enough.
Actress.
Hello.
No, I'm
Hello.
clocked out and was not part of the code team last night because I
Very
worked in a
nice. Very
different
good.
unit, so it
Very
was
good.
not my job.
Well done.
So, The Shape of Water comes one shy of the record for nominations. It gets 13 nominations. The record for most nominations is 14 with Titanic. All About Titanic, Gone with the Wind, and La La Land are tied for the most nominations ever.
Boat sinks.
Yep. So
I'll never let go, Jack.
And many, except for now.
Yeah, it's too cold now, Jack.
Although I love that movie. So most times the movie with the most nominations wins, although that rule's been kind of like fading away slowly. But Three Billboards, which is its main competition, did not get a Best Director nomination. So that kind of takes that out of the running. But it's got other shots. So Dunkirk does really well. Call Me by Your Name does well. Christopher Plummer is the shocker of the morning. And I didn't really care for this movie, but he's the one that replaced Kevin Spacey at the last minute. They rushed that movie out, made their deadline. Then there was the whole brouhaha about Mark Wahlberg getting paid the $10 million for the reshoots, and
Michelle Williams getting
Michelle
like
Williams
$80
$80 a day. She only got her per diem, and after public shaming from every single source of public media, Mark Wahlberg gave I think he gave 1.5 million to the Time's Up movement, and then the agency that reps both him and Michelle Williams, because it turns out they have the same representation.
Right.
Which is even more odd.
Well, I mean, different things, and
They had something, if I may, on The View. Whoopi Goldberg was talking because that was one of the topics where it was this big deal, and people were talking about how Mark Wahlberg can't win.
Yeah,
like he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. But that Whoopi said, yes, they have the same agent, but nobody knows what was written into the contracts. Mark Wahlberg might have something
Going
written
in, it could have said, if reshoots are necessary, I get X, and she may not have.
Right. And or these are the days that you have me for, for this, and if it's anything outside of that, it'll be this much money. And maybe that wasn't written into her contract. Whether it should have been or shouldn't have been, it just wasn't. So
Clearly
that's
it
the
should have been.
speculation.
That was,
Clearly it should
going
have been.
forward, I think we should review all contracts and make them be unilateral.
Right.
And as Whoopi will tell you, she had her years of having a little bit more leverage, but then she famously told the Star Trek guy that she would do anything to be on that Star Trek series.
Oh.
Gene Roddenberry. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well,
his
Gene
name.
Roddenberry started, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Aaron,
but she-
Aaron is not in the chat room tonight.
But so she told him she would do anything. So again, she didn't negotiate her contract. Michelle Williams wanted the movie made. She wanted the movie released, so she said she would offer her salary back. You know what I mean? She put herself in the position of like offering herself up and offering her salary back and her like Thanksgiving holiday to get the reshoots done, where he was like, I want to be paid. You know what I mean? Like, so different negotiating tactics, unfortunately. But at the same time, when you're a $10 million writer, and I guess he's having some kind of a career surge, that once a year movie he makes, Lone Survivor, the Patriots Day, what I mean? Every once a year he makes this one. He makes that movie with that one director where it's some American thing, like they did the one about the oil well. They did the which was actually pretty good.
Whatever that was down. But he also did a couple this year, like with Will Ferrell. He did The Daddy, whatever the hell that was.
So he makes all those,
he had multiple
those
movies.
trashy movies that make money. She's a 4 or 5 time Oscar nominee. She's a good, solid actress with a backing that she's doing well. Barbara and I had that big argument where like, shouldn't he be making more money because of, he's making more movies that make money. Well, are you really going to pay somebody more for Daddy's Home, like some stupid ass fucking 3rd grade comedy about stepfather? You know what I mean? Like, it's not quality work. It brings people to the seats, but at the end, like,
it employs people.
But at the same time, then make those movies like they're doing now with Bad Moms. Now they're making those same buddy movies, lowest common denominator. I watched that Road Trip last week, and like people are upset that the really filthy woman in Road Trip, the funny filthy lady, didn't get an Oscar nomination. Like,
you mean Girls
Trip?
Girls Trip.
Yeah, Girls Trip.
The black version of Bridesmaids, if you will.
Exactly.
That's the way I looked at it.
So it's kind of like give everybody a chance to make those movies so you can up your game. Like all of a sudden, everybody seems more bankable because you've been in one of those summer nothing movies about people doing filthy things and making bad jokes. Like, you know what I mean? Like Something About Mary. Well, Something About Mary is a female-centric version of one of those movies. Oh, but what's the funny one with Christina Applegate and
Sweetest thing.
The Sweetest Thing.
One of the funniest fucking
Funniest
movies.
fucking movies. And so that's
Oh
all you
my
need to do is
God.
like
Yeah.
give women the same chance to make those stupid fucking movies that sometimes are really funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get horrible bosses too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know, they're not all
you're
made
right.
equal.
You're
They're not all
absolutely
made
right.
equal.
But,
So we'll just talk about so Jordan Peele was nominated Get Out, the movie again we've been talking about it for a full year since last February. The movie that just doesn't stop getting into the awards games. Jordan Peele has been nominated for Best Producer, Best Screenplay, and Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Director. Only 2 other people in the 90 years of the Academy Awards have this happened with. Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty and James L. Brooks in terms of endearment. So, this little movie that could, Jordan Peele enter some rarefied air of getting nominations for producing, directing, and writing a movie. And only one of a handful of black directors to get nominated. So we'll go to, let's see, are we on the right page now? Yes. So Call Me By Your Name, my favorite of the year, and one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen, gets picture, screenplay, song, which I was so happy about that beautiful song got nominated, an actor, but Armie Hammer didn't get nominated for supporting actor, so that was kind of sad. And he got booted out by Christopher Plummer.
Okay.
There's a kind of a backlash now. I'm not really sure what's going on with this James Franco story. I've kind of lost it. But James Franco's spot in Best Actor was stolen by Denzel Washington and Roman J. Israel Esquire, which, like, okay, no one liked this movie. Like, this movie was poorly received. I do not get this. This is just, you know, one of those weird Meryl Streep late 90s nominations where you're like, for that fucking
Really?
movie? Like,
That
now you're just automatically filling it out. But Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out gets nominated because he's the best crier, but it's Gary Oldman's Oscar. We can stop talking about it. No surprises, an actress in a leading role. I, Tanya, Margot Robbie makes it in. The same people like Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson get nominations. So now Woody from Cheers
Right.
has like 3 Oscar nominations out of his belt. Like all of a sudden he's pulled out this great career.
Sure. I just watched a thing about him on, or not him, but about the Natural Born Killers.
Mm-hmm.
Was on Reels, the channel Reels, and it was startling how much he and Juliette Lewis.
No.
Juliette Lewis, yeah.
Juliette Lewis
Oh.
looked like those two.
Yeah.
I mean, startling. Natural Born Killers we turned on for like a minute and a half, and it was just
It's too much.
too much. But
You got to
years ago,
really brace yourself to watch
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers.
There
Like,
it was unbelievable and awful, and so. But I was startled how much they.
Yeah.
Just as a total aside, sorry.
oh no, and
was
and one of
wow.
those movies that really put him on the map and took him from the bumbling bartender from Cheers to like serious actress.
Yep.
Mary J. Blige is a 2-time Academy Award nominee now for Best Supporting Actress for Mudbound and for writing the theme song to Mudbound. So there you go. She's got 2
Yeah, I
chances
saw that
to
she
win
was
or
in there.
lose.
I heard a story last night. Pardon me. A story from who's the director of that of Mudbound? Who's the director of Mudbound?
Oh,
Is it a woman? Correct.
Yes, it is.
So the woman was on. I forget what news show. It was on the background, and I heard her telling a story.
Dee Reese.
Dee Reese. So she was telling a story about the making of the movie and how they got all put together and how she got Mary J. Blige to come in and do it, and getting Mary J. to do it. Just no makeup, nothing, no frills, nothing. She just was there. And apparently the kid who acts opposite of her, and again, I've not seen it, like they'd gone a couple of days. And the director had made it a point to call all of the actors by their character names. And she messed up one day and she said, "Mary, can you do whatever?" And the kid froze. And he goes, "Oh my God, I've been wondering and I've been thinking that you're Mary J. Blige," and apparently lost his mind.
I didn't know it was
Didn't
her.
realize he's acting opposite of Mary J. Blige the whole time, and like apparently they had to calm him down and get this all figured out. But that's kind of funny that all of a sudden you have no idea that without makeup, without all the glamour.
Yeah, well, if I found out I was accidentally spending time with Mary J. Blige, I'd be like, well, bitch, you're singing a couple songs. You got some stuff to do. So, Phantom Thread is the also big surprise that it got a Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress. nominations and booted Holly Hunter for her good work in The Big Sick.
That her role in that
Yeah.
Big Sick was so good.
Yeah.
She played that character so well.
She was
Started out just bigoted mother that who didn't want anything to do with the other, and then fell in love with them. As
and
these
she's
other.
just terrific.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen her in anything. And I think we talked about that. I hadn't seen her in anything in forever.
Yeah, and when she shows up, you just pay attention. So achievement in directing, usually the all white guy club now has Christopher Nolan, his first fucking nomination, which that's all I care about.
Really?
Finally gets invited to the dance.
Okay.
So after 4 Directors Guild nominations, he finally gets an Oscar nomination. He's not going to win because Guillermo del Toro is going to add to the Mexican Directors Club that where Cuarón has already won, and the wonderful guy from that won too for The Revenant. Paul Thomas Anderson makes a surprise showing for Phantom Thread, which I'm going to see tomorrow. Greta Gerwig, so we get a female nominee, and we get Jordan Peele, an African American nominee.
It is a very
diverse crowd, and strong work to all of them. Molly's Game gets and so Dee Reese did get nominated. I wasn't sure for adapted screenplay for Mudbound. So that's a Netflix movie made by Netflix. This is Netflix big push to get into the Oscars because Amazon got in there last year with Manchester by the Sea and Moonlight.
Yeah.
So now Netflix has got a horse in the race, and they're very excited. And Logan, the Wolverine movie, gets an adapted screenplay nomination.
Oh.
In a shocking turn of events. I was really amazed by that. Cinematography, we get Mudbound, and we get Rachel Morrison, who is the first woman ever nominated for cinematography, the one you were talking about. And she is also the first. She is lesbian, right?
I think so.
Lesbian woman nominated.
Depends on what you're talking about.
Yes.
Lesbian could be correct.
It could be.
And one of the
well, with what I read, I just read
right.
through as far as woman, but I believe that was in there, and I.
Now, I if I'm not mistaken, and let me look to make sure I'm right here. But because when you do your ballots, the names are not written out. All you see is the movie and cinematography. You don't know who you're voting.
Oh, okay.
You don't know the person you're voting for. So Roger Deakins, one of the most famous cinematographers in history, is now on his 14th nomination with no win. So everyone keeps saying if you would just put his name under his movie so people would know to vote for him. So that's what leaves cinematography kind of open because nobody knows who they're voting for.
Okay.
They don't realize that one of the most famous people has been sitting there unrewarded for centuries.
You guys, time out. I apologize. So Kathy is in the chat room.
Yeah, hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kath.
Hi, Kathy.
She is a friend dating back we discovered 18 years.
Okay.
I've worked with her at a location that we will not divulge. And when I was at that agency that Doug Ducey oversees now, and just amazing, absolutely amazing. And I said,
welcome.
Well, she said that she needs to meet you. She just firmly she needs to meet you. She went straight to that, and I said, "Oh, you want to meet her?" So
Val's
Val,
so nice.
Val is a lovely gal. So anyway, she said that she had been out for some time and listened to the show, and I was like, "Oh God, help me," which shows. And so anyway, I said, "Get in the chat room. You need to be in the chat room." She said, "I don't know how." Look at
Pretty easy, Kathy.
look
You
at
did
that.
it.
Well done.
Very nice.
Welcome aboard.
We'll give you a nomination just for that.
This
Just for
time it's
that,
personal.
Just for that. That's right. So thank you for doing that, and hello.
So I'm trying to think. So Baby Driver gets a couple nominations. Blade Runner gets a couple nominations. But Baby Driver, and they're like no poor sports here. Like 3 tech awards. You know, you kind of knew they were going to get an editing award. But very gracious. Their response to being invited to the dance at all was very nice to see. Like they understood they had a sense of occasion. Like
I know that I don't see nearly as many movies as a lot of people do because I really don't. But I still am impressed by, and I've said it before, the little over the top with the killing in that movie. I mean, there was a more than I needed. But that movie, from start to finish,
very entertaining.
Was the soundtrack was fantastic. The editing, the whole goddamn movie, I thought was really good.
And those are the things that came up.
Look
surprisingly,
at that.
sound
I'm
mixing.
learning.
Look at the good you
Look
do.
at that.
And then one of our clues to the Oscar winner is film editing, because I think it's been, I can't remember now what movie it is. It's so long ago, but a movie has not won Best Picture without being nominated for Best Editing in like 30 some years. Like, it's just,
So you had said that, I feel like, last year.
yeah. And it's what told us that La La
And-
Land probably was not going to win
Right,
Best Picture.
right. Yep, that's what I remember.
So there is no. So this is where the movie gets crazy, because The Shape of Water, a movie that movie has nothing to do with editing, gets an editing nomination. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, another one. No editing choices to speak of, gets nominated for Best Editing. And then what got the morning really exciting, I, Tanya, all of a sudden in the early nominations pulls off an editing. I'm like, God damn it, I, Tanya's gonna get nominated for Best Picture.
Stop.
But they fell short.
I loved your post though about the post about oh God,
Allison Janney?
Allison Janney and the bird too. Like,
Oh.
come on, if she gets something out
We're
of it,
gonna have a separate toast for her, because and just the fact that she can Allison Janney can make the most unlikable character that suddenly you're kind of on her side.
you'd like to hang out with her and smoke a
yeah.
cigarette. I mean,
She's
She
smoking a
is the
cigarette and
best.
beating her daughter, and you're like, she's not
She
that
might be
bad.
cool.
and on
Yeah.
oxygen again. I think that's the funniest throwaway of early years. She's smoking. Later on, she's telling the story. She's on oxygen.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
think it's funny.
I don't think there's anything that woman can't do. I mean, she's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So good time, and she's the favorite because she won the SAG Award, she won the Critics' Choice Award, she won the Golden Globe.
Okay.
So now we seem to be on the march. That there hasn't been another. It's been Gary Oldman, Frances McDormand, Allison Janney, and Sam Rockwell at every single. Like, they're not
Okay.
varying on this. So
Sure.
I think our only excitement is going to be picture and director and who comes up with those. Dunkirk has 6 nominations. Followed by Lady Bird, and 5 Billboards. And then here's the other one. The other category that I thought was kind of a strange place to have the battle come down to. Original score. You get Dunkirk with that ticking clock. And Hans Zimmer, I loved Dunkirk. Dunkirk would be my second favorite movie after Call Me By Your Name. So score for that movie. And it's one of the things that you notice is when the score stops at the end, when the movie ends, and that's that constant barrage of the score and that ticking ends.
Sorry, keep going. I'm just doing. It's not you. It's me.
Oh, okay.
No, it's me.
yeah, I was like,
So I mean, you kind of like audibly like, oh, thank God. You know what I mean? You've been so tense for that entire movie. So that was a good one. You know, you get John Williams for Star Wars, The Last Jedi. What the hell happened during that movie? But then here we go. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, like not a movie you think of for score. I don't even remember there being music.
okay.
Shows up in the score. So people obviously
Valid point. I
liked
don't
this movie.
remember.
I haven't seen it.
So when you
I'm
get
not
down
sure.
to like category 14, people were still enjoying the movie enough to like check that off.
Go ahead.
The Shape of Water, which I vaguely remember. Plus, it's Alexandre Desplat, who's just a beautiful composer, and the music for that is lovely. You were kind of expecting this one, but now you're at this head-to-head battle where you're like, let's look lower and see where they liked people.
And
You're
they
there.
did have 13. And Aunt asked about
Yes,
that. And
yeah,
it
13.
Was 13.
One short of the record.
That's right. Okay, I was thinking it was
Um,
12 when you were saying that because I wasn't totally listening.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And then Phantom Thread. This is the other place where Phantom Thread, a little movie, and Paul Thomas Anderson is kind of like liked a little bit by the Academy. Like they like him more than Christopher Nolan, but they never give him anything. He did Boogie Nights. He did Magnolia. He did The Master. He did There Will Be Blood. He did the one good Adam Sandler movie, Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, okay.
So I mean
I didn't think that was very good, but okay.
at Adam Sandler levels.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Now I can go
Lowering
with that.
the bar.
Fair.
Lowering the
Yep.
bar.
Yep. Okay.
So and that was it. Now there is a little Jane was not included in Best Documentary in the short list. Angelina Jolie's movie First They Killed My Father or First They Took My Father. I can't remember what they did to her father.
Something.
That one's not there.
It's
So
John Voight. Who
yeah, kind of.
cares?
No. But it's
No.
about
Oh, I'm just kidding.
It's the war-torn movie.
Just saying, you know.
And then animated feature, the movie that might take Coco out is Loving Vincent. So don't be surprised that day if Loving Vincent, the cartoon about Vincent van Gogh,
Okay.
actually beats Coco, because those two have been going like artistically head to head, and Disney Pixar's got like 9 million Oscars, so they may actually honor Loving Vincent. So don't be surprised. Put that on your ballot for a little spoiler if it gets down to those kind of categories.
Okay.
So that's it. I mean, there's a couple nominees. There's a couple nominations for Beauty and the Beast, which I had forgotten about. That had enough below the line. You know, it has the beautiful music, but the score has already won. Costumes it was nominated for.
Okay.
Production design. It was a beautiful movie, and the second biggest movie of the year with a female lead.
Okay.
Or might it be bigger than Wonder Woman? I can't remember. When they finished like second and third. So no Wonder Woman and no Wonder Woman anywhere. Like no
That's
special effects,
surprising.
no sound. I really thought that
Yeah.
they would do better. And no Beauty and the Beast in the Best Picture, which I thought both of them could. They're big hits. They were both beautifully made. Everyone seemed to like them. So there you go. And The Post makes it in. Meryl Streep now has her, I don't even know how many Oscar nominations she has.
Right.
Like 20,
It's-
21,
it's
22,
insane.
who knows. But again, you could make an argue for Jessica Chastain for Molly's Game, her best performance in a terrific, fun movie. Don't miss Molly's Game. If you watch it on cable, just get the popcorn and enjoy that rat-a-tat-tat talking, especially if you like The West Wing, because that's Aaron Sorkin. If you already are into the Aaron Sorkin dialogue
Okay.
and people talking that fucking fast, Gilmore Girlsing it, you're gonna love Molly's Game. Just
Okay.
now President Bartlett plays poker. I mean, it's just
Okay.
so fast. So Meryl Streep gets in again, and The Post gets Best Picture, but Spielberg doesn't get a Best Director. Let me double check, but I don't. Tom Hanks gets ignored yet again. So let me just go through the snubs and surprises and see what I
Do you
missed.
think that he should have?
Tom?
And
Well,
who
Tom.
do you take out?
Right.
If
Tom,
you...
well, I would. For Tom Hanks, I don't know, but he keeps making great movies like Captain Phillips, saving Mr. Banks, this movie, and the Oscars just want nothing to do with him anymore.
Okay.
So his time in the sun is gone.
After what? Philadelphia and
He did Castaway, and then he got Saving Private.
Castaway.
He's got his five nominations, and then they just won't do anything with him.
Sure.
We talked about that. We talked about Army. We talked about that. We talked about Martin. We talked about that. You took the shot. Oh, and so Rachel Morrison, for Mudbound, she is working on Black Panther. If you have not seen the ads for Black Panther, the comic book movie about the Black Panther, it looks terrific. I'm very excited about that. And I don't get excited about comic book movies. Hung Chow from Downsizing, nominated for like Golden Globe, SAGs, Critics' Choice Awards, and then doesn't get the Oscar nomination. It goes to the woman from Phantom Thread. So, but I haven't seen Downsizing, so I don't know. And I think that is all the surprises, and we actually covered all those organically. So there you go. That's the Oscars. And now, if you're not watching it, please start. Set your VCRs. Don't wait the year to do it. American Crime Story, the assassination of Gianni Versace. What an amazing first episode.
Okay.
Holy shit, was that done well.
Was that what? So Doug Wilkie, the villainess,
The villainess. Dun, dun, dun.
had something on Facebook about that. Where,
He
like
lived-
a very
He lived in
That was something.
Miami Beach, right around that time. I can't remember why he moved there. He didn't stay very long, but he
something
lived
about
there.
a restaurant.
Yeah, he would. I can't. I was the only person he moved permanently, but maybe it was just to open up the restaurant. It's been so long. But during that time was in the South Beach is where he lived, and the restaurant that he was working at was just a few blocks from Versace's home, and they would see him on the street, and so he had a testament to like how beloved he was in the community, and he was the one that kind of like put South Beach on the map for the jet setters and made it kind of the glamorous destination that it is.
And he'd walk by. It was kind of like, it sounded like people
Yeah.
in New York with like Heath Ledger or.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, obviously, apparently of just dead people now, but Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Like, you know how.
Sarah Jessica Parker walks
Right,
around
right.
very
they just
often.
walk around and
Right.
people are like, hello, and respect the fact that
Yeah.
their
They're just
jaws
lo-
aren't really dropping. They're just
They
normal
live
people,
there.
Typical people.
And the other connection was he had been like at a couple events where Andrew Cunanan had also been.
Sure.
Like they happened to be at like the symphony one night together because Andrew Cunanan did his time here because one of his victims, and I don't know if it was the one from Chicago or the one from Minnesota, but based on my part of the story, I'm gonna say it was the gentleman from Chicago that he murdered
Okay.
that wintered out here.
Yeah,
and
because
had him-
Minnesota was a big component of that
Yeah.
as well. Sure.
And so he was a boy toy out here. So
Okay.
they crossed paths out here, and then he was a customer at BS West because
Yeah,
that older gentleman, in his life
Yeah.
was a daytime drinker and brought the Cunanan in a couple times, and so the Chicago police called me as a day bartender to ask me questions about like what I knew about the victim. And because I'm like, why am I so vague on the story? And I always forget that Princess Diana died like a week later or 2 weeks later. So like the whole world changed and the whole focus switched to something else. So that story.
Was this another phone call from officers where you gave completely inaccurate information about?
Oh, so wrong. I described the guy that cut
Right.
hair next to my hairdresser.
Exactly.
Robert Verdugo. Who,
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Jesus, not even close.
So he even no, not him, but he was my hairdresser at the time. And the guy that was at the next
the next station.
The next station, like when he walked in, I'm like, oh shit, I just described you to the Chicago police as a killer. So yeah, so that's, I mean, it was just a weird small world there for a while.
Did they pick him up? Because that would be.
And you know,
Blissfully-
based on when that happened, I don't know how I missed out on that because I was running with the Wilk and all of that during all of that time, but all of that happened. I was never near it. To my knowledge, I was not around any of it.
Well, because he was in South Beach.
No.
Oh, right,
but
right.
when he was in Scottsdale, like when he was here.
Right, but it was like the Phoenix Symphony, like the things that were going on here were things that I don't think you were.
But I was around at the time, but I guess I just was running in those circles at the time.
Yeah, and it was a weird, it was just a weird story, and that it made its way back to Scottsdale was just odd, and
Well, and San Diego was that another part?
You went from like San Diego to here because you did some
Yeah.
restaurants over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
he's talking about Cunanan.
No, I'm talking. Well,
No.
yes, but because of the Wilk, because
Oh,
there
right,
was
right, right.
something where it wasn't just here.
Oh no.
There were like
Yeah.
3 different.
Yeah, it was like
places.
South Beach where they were like one
Jesus.
person away. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very odd. But
They
the
should have maybe
show,
picked up Doug Wilkie. Is all I'm saying.
yeah.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Cahoots.
I don't know. They can't possibly keep up that tone that they did for that first episode. Like that first episode is a standalone,
Okay.
sets the tone for the rest of the show, shows you how it all happened, and now of course we're gonna do the crime story and break it all down. Like how did this all start? How did we come to these places? Ricky Martin, really good. Penelope Cruz, who I like and dislike in equal measure, is just fantastic as Donatella.
And who played Cunanan?
Darren Criss.
Darren Criss from
Yes, that's right. That's what I read. And he apparently from Glee.
Oh,
Glee
and
Flame.
Right.
absolutely amazing. And as I tell
Really?
people,
Okay.
one of the reasons to go see theater in LA is people take roles in the LA productions because they know they will be cast in something. If you're
Okay.
good, someone's going to notice. Ryan Murphy saw him in Hedwig
Okay.
last fall
Yep.
and cast him as Andrew Cunanan because he finally saw
Wow.
him as like kind
Someone
of sexy
other
and kind of
than-
dangerous, not
Sure.
just the teenage boy
Sure.
in the seersucker
Glee.
suit.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I would think Jenny said she missed the first episode
Oh,
of
it's
this,
on
but
demand.
it'll be on demand.
Oh, it'll
I'm
be on
sure.
all I need to watch because
Yeah.
I forgot to set it to record, so it's now set to record. And Mom said that she's watching, and I guess she already watched the first one.
yeah, and it's like I said, you can't keep up that tone because it would just be because it's told in the style of an opera. Like it's done
Oh.
very very. John Woo is that director that did all those like operas with doves flying. You know what I mean? Like, and you can tell that Ryan Murphy wrote and directed the first episode. He'll probably pass the baton to someone else. But you can tell that he's been watching John Woo movies and decided that he wanted to do, like, I feel like he sat down and said, "Who makes movies that are kind of operatic in tone?" It was like, "Oh, John Woo."
John Woo.
So
That would be he.
yeah, but beautifully done. And Darren Criss just is in a whole different level. Like
Okay.
it's just I was not expecting that performance from him at all. But Donatella, like she.
Okay.
And the relation, I'm very interested to see how this relationship between Donatella and Versace's lover of 15 years, how that plays out, because it ain't looking good now.
Okay.
Looks like she was kind of a see you next Tuesday to him.
Okay.
But I mean, interesting. It really laid down the foundation of like, ooh, I want to know more.
Sure.
You know, a story I thought I knew a little bit about. And I'm like, oh, I'm just
I have
riveted.
no idea.
And after
Okay.
how well they did with Feud and O.J. Simpson, maybe it's just American Crime Story, not American Crime Story. What's that? American Horror Show, where he just has to go off the rails. Maybe that's just where he goes to take a story too far and do shitty things. Maybe he gets it out of his system there, and then the other shows he does lovingly. Because Feud never went off the rails. I mean, that last Dream episode was a little touch and go for me, but
Oh, where she was older and she
Yeah.
imagined everybody being there.
hallucinating shit. I didn't need that. But
We don't know.
American Crime Story stayed good. I mean, the People versus O.J. Simpson stayed
It did.
riveting
It
till the
stayed good
last
through
bow.
The whole thing. You're right.
So cannot recommend that enough. Just so well done. I watched it the other day, and it reminded me a little bit with its like that dreamlike quality, and maybe it's just what I'm into now too. Maybe Ryan Murphy and I are going through the same midlife crisis. That last episode of Big Little Lies that I was so drawn to for its lack of dialogue and the fact that it was all told like through looks and glances and very sparse dialogue and a lot of like just you don't need us to talk that much. We can just show you some pictures and give you some information, and so it's very well done.
Nice.
So that's it for entertainment. Watch Gianni Versace, The Assassination of.
Apparently, according to this is DeadlineHollywood.com. Apparently, the family of Gianni Versace is coming out swinging against him, saying that it was it's a work of fiction, saying it had not authorized nor had any involvement in the series at all. So they're not happy about it.
Well, just from that first episode, I don't think Donatella's going to be real happy with how they portrayed her in that first episode. And I
Because
don't
she
know.
was such a bitch.
And it wasn't. And again, there's not enough dialogue in there. There's not enough like back and forth. It's all told. It's done very like operatic. You just don't get that much information. You kind of have to infer it. And I was like, bitch. But she doesn't come out right and say like you're a piece of shit.
Right.
It's all done with glances and slamming doors and this great score. So who knows? And maybe their relationship warms up. But as of like episode number 1, she wasn't nice to the grieving lover.
Okay.
I'm trying to
And
see.
maybe that's what they're trying to get.
I don't think it's not going to be on Hulu, but it's going to be on FX. You can go to FX.com on their website because trust me, when you want to find an FX show, you don't got to work that
So
hard.
according to the Wikipedia page for this, Ryan Murphy, obviously, episode 1. Episode 2, Nelson Cragg, Cragg. Don't know who that is. Episode 3 is Gwyneth Horder Payton. 4 and 5 are Daniel Minahan. Don't know who that is. Descent comes back to Gwyneth Horder Payton. Numbers 7 and 9 are to be announced, and number 8 is Matt Bomer.
Oh, that's the Matt Bomer. Hottie. Matt
Cunt
Boner.
Harrison and Cunt Bear.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, everybody.
night,
Thank you.
girls. Sleepy.
You're not going to miss
But-
much. We're almost done.
But look on FX.com. You'll find it. Trust.
No.
So Matt Bomer is going to be starring
that
with
name
a
sounds familiar.
He's
yeah,
hot.
he's the hottie from
Yeah, he's a cutie.
From Ryan Murphy Productions. Like, well, he had his own show called.
Well, he was in the AIDS show. The Hello, I hate calling it that. Sorry.
Oh, I kind of recognize him.
Blah 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 blah.
He's
The
40
Normal
years
Heart.
old. He's from Webster Groves, Missouri.
Yeah, he's from he was in
beautiful.
the
He's
the
a
Normal
white
Heart.
collar American Horror Story,
The
Magic
Normal Heart.
Mike, and The Last
Normal Heart.
Tycoon.
Oh yeah, anytime you can get his clothes off, it's because
Oh,
he is
my God! All right.
he is one of the most beautiful humans going.
I wouldn't go with that.
Oh,
he's
no.
a decent looking boy. I'll give you that.
Well,
Okay,
And he's
we got to ask
fantastic.
you about your standards when that is a decent looking
I,
boy.
I don't like blue eyes.
Oh,
Mama
he's-
Di, are
but
you
he's a
saying
decent-
are you saying Donatello's a very strange lady in the
In
the
real
chat
life
room?
or just
real
in the
life?
show?
Right, or in the movie.
Yeah,
or the
Donatella,
show.
she's an odd individual. Yeah, all the way around.
White
Well, she's
white
an odd
collar
duck
was
lips.
the white
Like,
white
blah, blah, blah.
collar was the show he was on, and
White collar, yeah.
I was unfamiliar with. Oh, and the New Normal. He was on the New Normal, just one episode. But anything Ryan Murphy, Matt Bomer shows up because Ryan Murphy's got the hots for him too. Again, we're clearly going through the same midlife crisis.
Sure.
I never figured out who Donatella was. It was a couple years before I hit and clearly don't follow fashion.
I do, and I'm so extra.
You're so extra.
You are.
So when Maya Rudolph started doing that Donatella thing on SNL,
Right.
I was lost by it. I'm like, I don't get
this.
this. And then I saw her give an interview, and I'm like, oh, she
Oh,
got this
shit.
bitch
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Like, that is spot on.
Right.
And because, Italian which seems to me like an accent through where?
Right. And lips about that big.
Yeah, and
I
then
mean, she's got some filler.
yeah, so and
This is filler.
it really is. But hopefully they'll find a way to get Matt Bomer in there and get his shirt off because. But anyway, so I was talking about Matt Bomer, and I just get distracted by his absolute beauty. But they're
Apparently.
doing a revival of The Boys in the Band on Broadway, starring Andrew Reynolds, bunch of moes. No, it really is. And honest to God, I'm very concerned about The Boys in the Band going back on Broadway because I feel like we're setting back the gay movement about 50 years.
Okay.
The Boys in the Band is one of the most self-loathing, awful, awful productions. It's also known as the first gay movie ever made,
Okay.
and it's awful, awful, and you hate them. So unless that gets some really, really, really specific rewrites
Okay.
and changes the tone and the topic and everything about that, I
So
can't
just make it a new
show and
yeah.
just call it The Boys in the Band. But I can't imagine, with all we've learned about ourselves and humanity in the ensuing 47, 48 years, we can't do better than The Boys in the Band.
Okay.
Like,
need
I
to look
saw
this
it and I was
up.
like, oh, that's cool to have all these gay guys playing gay guys. And then I'm like, oh my God, but in The Boys in the Band, like, I'd rather watch a
I
deer
need to
get
look
run
this
over
up 'cause
18
I'm-
times.
Oh,
It's
that's
awful.
horrible.
It's awful.
That's horrible.
Awful.
In the...
Can't stress enough how bad it is.
So look up Boys in the Band Broadway. Just the Boys in the Band.
Oh yeah,
Broadway?
yeah. If you Google Boys in the Band Broadway for the revival, I mean it's the who's who of Moe's working actors right now.
But put like plot or something maybe.
Oh, the plot is it's a bunch of people at a house party that just hate themselves and hate each other for
Oh.
being gay and just are catty,
Okay.
bitchy cunts.
Okay.
Like they're just awful to each other and filled with self-loathing. Like it's one of those movies that people hold up of like, oh, it was such a pivotal moment. No.
Okay. And the movie.
Yeah, the movie is like a direct translation. I think everybody from the original Broadway production made it into the movie, and it had a little splash, but it couldn't play in theaters because of the content. So it was, like an art house movie back in the, early days of art house movies.
Best New Star. It had the Golden Globe Award for Best New Star of the Year. Ben Kingsley was in this.
Jesus Christ, really?
Maybe I'm lying.
No, I mean, that would make sense. Yeah, it's from 1970s. 1970.
Maybe I'm lying, but
No, nominated for 1 Golden Globe. Oh, no, Kenneth Nelson. Most
Sorry.
promising newcomer, Kenneth Nelson. I'm like, I don't think Ben Kingsley's in that movie.
well, it just showed Ben Kingsley, and I thought, well, gay, so right?
Is he gay?
Is he? I thought he was. Maybe
I
I
don't
just
know.
make him gay.
Wow, so much misinformation coming out of the show
Yeah.
right now.
We never said it was true.
Yeah, oh
we
my
never
God.
said we were right
So,
about things.
so there you go. So there is this.
Hear
See if
me
you can Google that and put up that picture.
Which one?
Google Boys in the Band. New
Oh, I
cast.
was trying to put up a picture of what's her name for you? Mary J. Blige.
Ben Kingsley won for Gandhi in '83, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say they're a couple years apart, and
Whatever.
Boys in the Band.
oh my God, I don't remember anybody being British.
Well, they have to get rid of
Yeah,
their
there should be a
accent
picture of the
sometimes.
new cast.
Oh, there is. There's Matt Bomer right there.
My bad.
Let me get this. Stand by. I got lots going on over here. Trying to load pages and do shit.
You're very busy.
Yeah.
Shit. Very busy.
Good God. I want faster, better computers. Oh, what's his name's in that? I didn't realize that. You may have just said that and I didn't even hear you.
Yeah, but you don't listen.
Nah, nobody listens to me.
I don't. I mean, I usually don't.
Well, it's hard to do.
So
I know there's a lot of information going on.
There is.
All right, we're gonna get
That's nice.
there. I promise.
That's nice.
Here it is. That is this picture. Boom.
oh,
Yes. So Andrew Reynolds, the guy from American or Desperate Housewives, he's one of the twins that recently came out. What's his butt from Star Trek, Big Bang Theory, Matt Bomer. I mean, it's a great cast, and it would be a shame to have them all hate each other. And now Ryan Murphy is employing, and why can't I think of his name now either? Ryan Murphy is employing him quite a bit too, Mr. Spock from
Mr. Spock, yes.
from the Star Trek movies. Jesus.
God, awkward pause.
I know.
awkward- sorry.
I can't think of anybody's
There's a lot
name.
going on.
But anyways, he's another one that's in all the things.
Oh,
So
this is what I was.
Kathy is with a K and, well, Ohio originally, but from Arizona. Lives in Arizona now.
This is what I was trying to get for
And
you.
I
This,
believe
this
so,
picture of Mary J. from, isn't this from the movie we're talking about?
yes, from Mudbound.
Yeah.
So that's on Netflix. The Roman Esquire movie with Denzel Washington is available on DVD through Netflix. So there's a couple things that you can see for Oscar time. And Mudbound, it's gonna be good.
Okay.
Interesting story, compelling. So good luck with all that. There's so
Nice.
many. Zachary Quinto. That's his name. I'm like, there's so many fucking Star Treks. I don't know which one to pick to get the right one. But Zachary Quinto is the handsome gentleman.
Oh, he played Spock. He's the gay one. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Spock, the gay one. That's what I keep saying over and over again. I know.
I'm trying to focus on production. Never heard you say that one time.
And
And I only know that because he's got that odd last name is what
Yeah.
gets me
So,
there.
so there you go. That's entertainment. That's
nice.
Do we need to do anything else?
Very nice.
no, I'm good.
I'm pretty good. Marnie, you good?
I have two things about nothing.
Well, we don't need to.
No, I mean, I really don't have anything.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's my point. Nothing.
Ah, I
Nothing.
see. You're trying to make a funny.
See where I was going with that?
I
No.
see. I saw what you did. I
all good.
seen.
It's all good.
I
It's all
seen
good.
what you did there,
Yep,
Marnie.
Yep,
Happy Oscar going. Hopefully, Call Me by Your Name will start its
Ooh,
campaign
Guy
for.
says Mudbound is so good. So good.
Well, thanks, Mom. I'll have to
Um,
find that one and watch it too.
I'm
available
very
for
excited for the
streaming.
Oscars.
I know I am too. It's an exciting. I mean, I think the acting ones are sewn up,
Good.
but and I like all of them. I mean, I'll tell you if I like Phantom Thread next week. But.
Yep. Nice.
Well, that was
Nice.
our abbreviated show. Thank you all for joining us. Jenny, Mama, Joe, Bear, Kathy, Anant. Everybody was in the chat room.
Harrison was with.
Oh, that's right,
Joe.
Harrison. All these people.
Yeah. Harrison.
Heaven's
is here.
sakes alive.
We are
I hope
very
we're
busy.
I'm hoping that we're all well and together again to do this next week, but if not, we'll update you on the Facebooks. But as we close tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday.
Santa just is white.